Hello, and welcome back to Two Cups Between. I'm Jordan, here with my best friend Sam.
Hi.
And our special guest, the Avicado.
Hello.
The Avi.
Yay!
Avicado.
Star of the show.
I didn't know I was getting my full name.
Yeah, your full name,
Avicado.
Avicado. Artist of the cover art.
Yeah.
Friend of the
all
show.
avocados.
Superstar. If you don't know Avi, I don't know where you've been, to be honest.
You're missing out.
Maybe not in Texas.
Perhaps.
Maybe. Avi, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Avi. Last name Cotto. I don't know. I'm an artist. That's like a passion of mine. I'm currently working at a garden center because
Love a garden center.
plants are also a passion of mine.
Oh,
And I'm a Leo.
Woo!
So
yes. This episode will be on fire. I'm scared.
so there's that. Yeah, I don't know. Those are things about me. I like
Those
art.
are good things
I like
about you.
Those
I
are
like
wonderful
plants.
things about you.
Thanks.
Right. Like Sam said at the beginning, Avi is the person who created our beautiful, amazing, incredible, perfect,
Iconic
iconic cover art.
Yes. A full year before we even started this.
Yes.
True. Yeah, it was.
Avi,
You could say it's been a well planned out journey.
Sure.
yes.
Or we could also say that Avi was probably like, these bitches aren't even gonna do the show. What did I do all this for?
Never. Honestly, even if y'all never come out with this, like I love what we came up with together.
It was so good.
Truly, like, still to this day, makes me emotional if I look at it for too long.
True. Yeah, I have to like not look at it
Yeah.
for too long.
I feel like I just feel like you really understood what we were asking you
I
for.
know.
Aw.
And obviously, so we had some concepts coming into the art consultation with you, but like you took the cover art and turned it into something that I feel like we could never have come up with on our own. Like your vision was just beyond perfect.
You're a visionary.
You really are. You're
so
so
y'all-
talented.
Y'all inspired me.
Oh my gosh. So yes,
I
we
mean,
have-
it's true.
Yeah.
We have Avi on the show as a surprise. This was kind of
Surprise.
a
cheeky surprise.
a very cheeky surprise, a very last minute plan. We love it.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna talk about life, astrology, Avi's chart.
Yes.
I can't wait to get into it.
They're gonna rip me apart.
No, never.
No.
No.
I'd never do that. No, it'll be fun.
It
Yeah.
would be a great time. I just really love that like you were one of the first people to know, other than the two of us, of course, about the podcast.
Yeah.
And here you are, our first ever guest on the
Amazing.
podcast. It
I'm
feels
honored.
only right, you know? You're such a good friend, a talented artist, a
Aw.
wonderful person, someone we cherish. Just very happy to
A
have
treasure.
you here.
You're a
It's
treasure.
really a treasure.
Thank
Me
you.
being
That's
annoyingly
true.
sappy, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like,
I'm
what's
just
going
gonna
on?
like crawl into my shell.
No, come out of the shell. It's fine.
It's safe here.
Yes.
Safe. It's
But-
just us, you know?
Yeah, we're just hanging out. Tell us how Taurus season has been treating you. I'm
Ooh.
very curious.
Oh my god.
Lots
And
to say
Mercury
about
retrograde.
I have been
Ugh.
feeling it. Oh, I mean, retrograde. I mean, I kind of feel like Mercury is always in retrograde.
facts.
Like, I don't know. I'm like, get over yourself. But Taurus season, I feel like I've really been feeling it. The urge to just like buy things for myself.
Yes.
And like I never do that. Like I am a chronic saver.
Mhm.
I hate spending money. I hate it so much. But lately, like over the past few weeks, it's just been like, you know what? And it's not even like frivolous things. It's like I've had a plan to do this like gardening
Exactly.
project for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like was one day just like went and bought like 5 bags of soil and compost, and just got it done. And I was like, I wouldn't normally like go and it's not like I said, it's not a frivolous purchase, but here I am like taking I don't know, taking charge of that and like just wanting to make those kind of like comforts for myself.
Yeah. Well,
love
this
that.
is Taurus season. That is like in a nutshell, like perfectly, like a perfect metaphor. Like, oh, this project that like I want to do for me. Maybe it's not like the most capitalistic gain of like,
Right,
you know,
right.
of what I do this year, but like it's been something I've been wanting to do for a long time that will make me happy, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna splurge on that. Like that is like a perfect idea of what to do this season.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's also I've just been irritated since
I've been
Taurus
I've been
season
feeling
started.
that with other people
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Oof, I've really been going through it with other people. My
yeah,
temper has been short, let's say.
yeah, yeah,
Also, it's not totally on everyone, but everyone is trying me.
yeah. People
Period.
people have been trying me too. Oh man,
I don't even know why. Like
there has just
what?
been a lot of snark in the air.
Well, I think everyone has like a short
Say
temper
it.
right now.
Yeah, yeah. But it's just
Mhm.
like, why are you testing me? This is
Yeah.
like, can we just like hang? Like, can we just not? Like, can we all just build our own little gardens? Okay.
Right? Can we just take it
Right.
easy and like focus on ourselves?
People
Yep.
Mm.
struggle. People
Like Sam and I
struggle.
said a few weeks ago, shut up.
Everyone shut up.
Stay
Just
in
shut
your
the fuck
lane
up.
and shut up. Don't talk.
No, everyone's doing that a
You
really
don't
bad
need
job.
to.
No, nobody needs to hear it.
No. Not even you.
That's
Leave your
true.
own bullshit out of this.
That's true.
Get a meal for yourself instead. Don't
Yeah,
talk.
exactly. Like,
Turn on
get
fucking
something nice to
Bridgerton,
eat.
okay?
Take a nap. Like, what are you
Yes.
doing here?
Shut
Turn on
up.
Bridgerton.
Shut up. Let somebody else's drama entertain you, like a TV show. Don't
Oh, I
True.
talk to
have been
anyone.
doing that. I've been watching a lot of Love is Blind, which I never got into.
Like the
Oh.
new season?
I watched the new season because someone recommended it. I didn't know that they made it out of the pods eventually. I thought that was the whole show.
Oh.
So I just
Oh, I
never
didn't
really
even know that.
watched it.
No, no, no. Yeah, they like actually meet each other, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the bit that I actually find entertaining.
Right.
Really?
Is like, yeah, like all the like post meeting drama,
Really?
and them like discovering like what the fuck have I done.
And then discovering like, oh, I do care about appearance and very superficial things.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting to see how people react when they like don't like the person they're with. People
Mm.
get mean. Like
Mm-hmm.
people treat people really bad when they're like not happy.
Isn't
Really?
that awful?
Yeah.
Is
I
it
don't
mostly the
know.
men or is it everyone?
No. I mean, I would say it's everyone. I would say it's everyone. The main person I'm thinking of who did this was a woman.
Oh
Um,
wow, yeah.
and I've seen it.
Hmm.
Obviously, now I've watched like 2 other seasons.
It's pretty universal that everybody is mean.
Yeah, I mean, just like if they're unhappy with their like choice,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just being like, I don't think this is gonna work, they're just like mean.
Really mean. Well, okay,
Ugh.
so I don't know if you're like going backwards or if you're like watching really old ones
No, yeah,
because
I went back to the first season.
okay, because the only Love is Blind lore I know is
Mhm.
because of like the South Asian social media space. Because there was like a South Asian couple. I think they're both Indian. And they
Mhm.
were both like, yeah, I don't date Indians. Like I'm into
Oh
white
yes,
people.
yes,
But then
no,
they like matched
that
up with each other.
they did, and he was one of those people who just treated her like shit.
Yeah, and
Wow.
like wasn't she also terrible though?
Um,
Like weren't both of them kind of awful or was she kind of like I
I
don't know.
think
People really I it seemed like he was really the worst.
he was the worst.
Yeah. And he was
Because
like
he
you
was
remind me
like,
of my auntie. Like
yeah, he
please
was like
chill.
behind her back telling everybody that
Yes,
like
yes, yes,
I just not
yes.
really attracted to her because she kind of like makes me think of my family members, and
That's
Ooh.
I'm
so
like,
weird.
buddy,
Are
buddy,
you
that's so
okay?
weird.
Yikes, dude.
And then
Yeah.
they both told each other that they were more into like, like blonde hair, blue eyes.
Right.
Which is like,
Mm.
okay.
Like without even without saying it.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah,
Lord.
people are
I just
terrible.
I
But
just
yes,
couldn't
that's
handle
the kind
watching
of
this.
say what?
How do you handle watching this? Because I just
Oh,
like
I love it.
that
Like you
is
said, it's just like full
someone else's
distraction from your
drama.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And like I don't really care about these people, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's impacting me.
Right.
See, when I see that, like when I heard about this story, like that couple, I was just like, it made me think of the maybe too broadly about men
Mhm.
and like especially South Asian men and like
Mhm.
Mm.
cultural things. And then I feel like I would just get really frustrated with how people are to each other, like how they treat each other, and not be able to just enjoy the drama. I think that's
Yeah.
my problem. Like I wish I could kind of disconnect a little more when I watch stuff like that. Like I did
Where?
watch Love Island
Mhm.
last summer. Was that in the summer?
Yeah, yeah, it comes out
Yeah,
over the summer.
right. And for a while I was like, yeah, I can enjoy this, like watching this with my friends and like making fun of people. But then after a while I was like, this is awful. And like these people are younger than me
Right.
on Love Island.
So weird.
It was
Yeah,
just
no,
so weird.
I
And it
definitely
just
have
felt
to
so
like
weird to me.
I definitely have to like maintain a separation.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like not and I mean a lot of these people are like very famous now. And I mean not to say they don't still have like emotions and lives to
Right.
deal with. But they're definitely on a different plane of existence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
um
like I don't have to apply it to my potential relationships.
yeah, and
Like,
like
you
you
know?
you chose to put yourself through this.
True. Yeah.
Like I'm sure you're getting a lot out of this even if it was like kind of traumatizing in the moment.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah,
But
reality
I do
shows.
I do understand that it's not at all for everyone.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'm too sensitive to things I consume. Like
Yeah.
media I consume, you
Yeah,
know?
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how was your week, Jordan?
Oh. Oh.
Just
It was
drama
fine.
filled. Yeah,
It was full of drama,
we'll
but
just skip over.
well, it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
How was yours, Sam?
Um yeah, mine was fine. Like I said, people have been snarky
Yeah.
and I've been on my medium slay
Mm-hmm.
bullshit.
Medium slay grind. Let's
Yeah, and
go.
it's hard to maintain. Like it's hard to maintain a medium slay.
Of course it is.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. I feel like people catch on when you're medium slaying.
Oh.
And it's like, I don't know, the attention is a little weird.
Ooh, like you have to keep it up for them.
Interesting.
No, well, I mean, that's part of it cuz
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing. If people I don't know if this is just a school thing, a med school thing, but like if people notice that you're doing well, they want your help.
Yes.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
totally fine. That is like totally fine. I don't mind sending out resources, but like also it's kind of like, oh, well, if you don't know this thing and you're wrong, like I was expecting you to be right or like to have the answer.
Good
And it's like,
Lord.
we're all learning the same things, you
Yeah.
know? So that like there is a little pressure there and I'm like, this is not the reason I'm medium slaying. It was not meant for other people. This was
This
meant for
medium slay
my
is not for you.
yeah, this is for my mental health so I don't literally burn out.
Yeah.
You know? Um
Fully that.
and then also it's like people either want your help or they're feeling insecure about it, which is also
Uh-huh.
not the reason I'm trying to medium slay is to be competitive, you
Right.
know? But I think that's such an automatic response of people here,
Mm.
like comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of like, oh, should I tone down the slay?
Should I make it a low
Yeah.
key slay?
And like I don't want to have to like do all these adjustments for
Yeah.
other people. Like that's not the point. So I think that's kind of what I've been dealing with. Like people are too involved in my slayage, my slayage. So I've just been trying to work on that, I guess.
Mm.
Um, And then I've also just had like weird interaction with like facilitators or like authority, like instructors
Oh, yeah.
Ew.
this week. Like I tried to complain about some images in our like lecture slides
Mm-hmm.
because of like how they're like worded or like the graphs that are used, and I was like, yeah, like I understand because I listened to the lecture,
Mm-hmm.
but like trying to look back at these images, it's hard to like grasp them, these
Yeah.
like graphs that you made. And we like went through it, and I was kind of like, to this lecturer, a professor, I was like, do you understand why this is confusing? And I meant it in like a very, I was trying to be as respectful as possible. They edit
Right.
things all the time and repost materials all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, like I know it's not inaccurate, but I think it's a little misleading and hard to study. So like, do you
Mm.
understand why it's a little confusing? And he just like looked at me with the most like arrogant face, and he was like, no.
Ew.
And I
What?
almost exploded. I had to really like really hold back, because I was like, why would you react that way to me? That was so, we were having a cold like conversation about this.
That's so defensive.
Yeah.
Ew.
And like I get like you're not completely in charge of all of the material posted because you're just one professor. But like it's material that you were teaching, I would think that you would want to care, or
Yeah.
just like I don't know, whatever. I've had like a lot of interactions with that, with
Ugh.
facilitators and authority.
Uh-huh.
And I was in an ultrasound lab, and I don't know what I did. Maybe I seemed really eager to go because I really like ultrasound,
Mm-hmm.
and I like wrapped the probe. I know Jordan knows because her mom does this for
Yeah.
a living. The probe wires are really like heavy and like a little
Yes.
uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
So we learned that you can like wrap them around your, like kind of around your head, and hold them with one of your hands,
Okay.
so that it's a little easier to hold on to them. So I did that, and the facilitator's like, "Oh, you think you're a pro sonographer?" And then I
What?
got a perfect image.
Yeah, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Oh my god, I
Think
almost
no,
threw
I
my phone
am.
just now. But it was so like, I don't know, it was so weird. I'm like, yeah, I get it. I'm a first year student, and like I'm not trying to look impressive. That's kind of the energy.
Right.
Like people think I'm trying to impress.
Ugh.
And it's like, no, I'm just trying to do my best. I thought that was the point.
I feel like I get that reception a lot when I'm like just trying to do a good job.
Right.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you try hard.
Yes,
Hello?
exactly.
And I mean, like, there's actually nothing wrong with being a tryhard, but it's also like we have such a negative.
Well, why do we
connotation
have
for
to
it, like-
judge it so
Right.
negatively?
Like,
So
why are
weird.
you
Like, yes.
trying to shade me because
Yes,
I'm actually trying?
I'm trying. Is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Or like with ultrasound, Sam, it's something you actually like.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you
You're
not
trying to
like
kill
take all the
this?
advice?
Yeah,
Like,
like-
yeah, I'm trying to kill it because I like it. Shut up.
God. I'm like, oh my god. Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I was like, cool, I'll just go home, I guess. Like,
I'll go. It's fine.
yeah. It's like, cool, you're bothered by this for some reason.
God.
I don't know what's
Right?
going
Like
on.
clearly you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think people are just a little frisky and frustrated, and
Mhm.
are taking everything too seriously, probably myself
Yeah.
included.
Yeah.
This Mercury retrograde Taurus
Ugh,
season
weird
combo is a
combo.
little difficult.
Oh.
It is.
It's a little much for me. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I think
That was
I
especially
feel like we
funny.
talked about this when we talked about this combination, how it's just going to make people a little bit more testy because
Yeah.
everyone like needs to be hermiting, right? Like you need to be minding your business, but we can't. And then the like miscommunication and like kind of communicative sensitivity that we have right now with Mercury retrograde is just like it's a bad combo.
Yeah.
It's all amplified
Yeah.
I've been noticing
very
it.
hard.
I've been noticing it at work for sure. With like, because I'm trying to just kind of keep to myself a lot of the time at
Mhm.
work. But I was like sitting in the break room, just kind of having like a 15 after we'd, I think, unloaded a truck or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked back onto the dock, and I see my coworkers like rushing to get our van like filled up, and I was like, oh, what's going on? And they're like, oh, apparently they're like in a rush to get to this event. And I was like, what event? Like, we were never told about this, but apparently it's our problem to load up the van. And it's like, it's fine because it's like, yeah, that is my job. I probably didn't need to get that like put off about it. But also I'm like, where's the communication?
Yep.
Communication.
Where is the communication?
Where did she go?
Screaming that all week long.
Where's the like, hey, this is something you need to do?
Oh man.
Screaming into the mic.
Oh, yeah. Oh man.
Love it.
But I think your whole thing of like, I'm gonna focus on my little garden project, such a metaphor of the times.
Yeah.
You're a genius.
Tend your own gardens, y'all.
Yes.
Please, it's a wonderful time to do it. It's springtime.
True. Yes.
Like,
literal and metaphorical gardens.
It's the time to. It's also time to repot plants.
It
is. Like,
is.
it's time to just do those. Like, disconnect a little, play with some dirt. Okay.
And it's nourishing for you too. Like,
Yeah.
you're giving things like nutrients and space and like room to grow, and by like practicing that with other living things, you're like kind of enforcing that in your own life.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Are we astrologers?
Don't go too far, Sam.
Well,
people will think you're a tryhard.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Love
I mean,
it.
that's true. Like, astrology is in tune with like natural cycles, which we're all quite
Very much.
disconnected from because of capitalism. But
Mhm.
so like,
And
it
like
all...
living in cities.
Yes.
Very
Woof.
true. Like who
do you
knows...
even have ground?
Yeah,
like,
do you even know what plants are? Like, do you know when stuff grows?
When was the last time you saw a tree?
Right?
Oh my god, I was
you...
just talking to someone. There's like mango trees in front of my dorm. Not
Mhm.
a flex, but yes, there's a mango tree in front of my dorm. And we were walking by. I was walking by with this guy, and he was like, "I never noticed mangoes on this tree before." And I was like, "Well, yeah, it's spring. Like, they weren't here before.
They've not been here."
Yeah, and he was like, "Do
But
they not
okay,
grow
my guy.
year round?" I was like, "No, mangoes
What?
don't grow year round here."
Even here.
But I think people are so
Lord.
used to, like, in the States especially, you could just get mangoes probably at
Right.
any time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're used to things being grown in greenhouses. We give plants the
Yes.
exact like conditions they need,
Yeah.
so that we can have them produce all the time.
Right. But
And,
it
like,
actually isn't the natural cycle of things.
No, and it's kind of weird because it takes away like the meaning a lot of the
Mhm.
time. Like, I don't know. When I think of peaches, I think of summer. I think of like stalls on the side of the road, because like peaches just taste so much better when they're in season and they're
Yes.
grown locally. If you live in that kind of a place.
Mhm.
But like, you don't get that like joy of like, oh, I know that it's summer because I have like fresh peaches
Exactly,
to make
yeah.
cobbler out of, and
Yeah.
like these things that like tie us to the seasons and tie us to like the cycle. I don't know, it's kind of taken away when it's like, oh, I could buy peaches at the store anytime.
Yeah. And you sent me a message of like, oh, tending to plants teaches me about the seasons of life, and I was like, oh my god. Because it's true, like, you have an off season.
Yes.
Where like, we gotta get like resources, and we have to wait for the right time, the right conditions. Like,
go
we're not
dormant.
always producing produce.
Yeah.
It's not a year-round thing, and it's very natural for like, not to always be blooming. But now
Right.
is a time to be
Yes.
blooming. It's very difficult to do that if you're just like stretched thin from trying to do it all year round. It's a very like it's like a pace that like most of us are struggling to follow, because
Absolutely.
by this time of the
Oh
year
my
we've already been trying too hard.
Right.
And like,
Yes.
trying to fulfill all of these weird needs of everyone else.
Instead
yeah.
of taking the time to rest, you've
Yes.
been grinding away.
Yeah. I had to take a day off work on Friday because I did not get the rest I needed.
Mhm.
And so it was forced upon me.
Yes.
Exactly.
Because whether you take it or not, you're going to, like, your body's going to require it at some point.
And it may require more rest from you, which
Right.
you didn't intend to get, or like you maybe can't afford to get.
Right.
But your body is going to be like, no, you actually don't have a choice. So now you're going to sit here for longer.
You overworked me.
You did way too much. You played too much. Now we have to rest. Sucks to be you right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
My
very
body's kind of a killjoy.
Yeah. Low-key, yeah. Existing
body
in a
is-
body, a physical form.
Yikes.
Wow.
Imagine.
Oh my gosh.
I love it.
Well,
Should we dive into your chart, Avi?
Oh my goodness.
Avi, tell us
That is what
about
we're doing.
tell us about you. What are the placements that you know off the top of your head very well of
Oh,
yourself?
off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have your chart
Um,
pulled up, but I want to know like what you like kind of focus on normally.
Okay. Well, I know my top three,
Mhm.
or my big three.
Mhm.
I know that I'm a Leo Sun, Virgo Moon, and Capricorn Rising.
Yes.
Yes.
I like those placements. I'm a fan of my placements. I like them. I think they're good.
Yeah.
Um,
Placements aren't bad, by the way.
no, not at all. But
There are no good or bad placements. There
Yeah,
are easier
even
and
though we
maybe more
literally
difficult
shit on
placements. Sometimes we do.
Sometimes we
And-
shit on placements, but it's not about them being bad.
Right.
No, and it's like I would say that I don't like conflict with my placements a ton.
Yeah.
Like I kind of appreciate the way that they work in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, but it is something I like laugh about, at times
Yeah.
where I'm like, oh, this is clearly like my 5 Virgo placements.
You do have a lot. You do have a lot of Virgo placements. Your Mercury and Venus are
Right.
Virgo.
Those are 2 I know off the top of my head.
Yes.
And I think we were speaking earlier that my Lilith is also
Yes.
Oh,
in Virgo.
yes. Lilith in Virgo. Woo!
Yes. Yes.
Um,
And your Mars is in Libra.
yes.
Mhm.
So we've
Yeah.
covered like the main 6
Mhm.
Yeah.
that we'll probably dive into. But yeah, like what would you want to talk about? I know we were talking a bit about your Capricorn rising.
Mhm.
Just like what questions you have, and like we're gonna interpret as best as we can as little newbie astrologers.
Baby astrologers.
Baby astrologers.
Baby astrologers.
Oh my god.
Please don't make this a franchise. Whoever's listening.
Whoever's listening.
Yeah, for the
Or
alpha
maybe
children.
do, but it's for us.
Yeah,
You need to get us in on the project.
exactly. Yeah.
I think that the Capricorn placements are interesting to me because I think they're overshadowed a lot by like other things I have going on. So definitely the rising. I'm not sure how much of that like I really show or how much of that comes off. Because I feel like people tend to interpret me. Well, what's funny is I have a coworker who is always like surprised that I'm a Leo. She's like, "Oh, that's right. I always think you're a Cancer," which I think is interesting because I have no water in my chart.
You really don't.
Yeah,
Like literally 0.
practically none. I think they just realized that you are emotional and empathetic.
Yes.
And they're like, that can't be
That's a
Leo.
Cancerian trait.
Is that what that is?
I don't know. Maybe.
It might be.
I think anyone who's like, oh, you're an emotional person must be a water sign. It's like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's not.
Which is
it's not
funny
like
because
It's not how that works, but
I feel like if somebody's an emotional person, I often think that they're a fire sign first.
yes, different emotions, right? Like
Very different emotions.
That's like quick to frustration or like a temper.
Or even just like exuberantly passionate about something. I
Right.
often think
Yeah.
fire signs just like
Which is funny because like I am a pretty like I feel pretty close to being like a fire sign. Like I think that
Mhm.
that makes sense for me.
Mhm.
Um, but I also struggle really hard with like feeling excitement,
uh
Mm.
which
mhm.
obviously I have 5 Virgo placements.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the earth.
The earth do be earthing.
Yeah,
But
the
it's like oh yeah, that could be exciting, but if you were to feel excitement, then you would like have expectations and then you'd feel
Mm.
okay,
disappointment.
Avi.
So how about we just don't feel excitement ever?
Oh my
Wow, the Virgo being
god.
very called out right now.
Woo!
I just have a feeling. Whereas me, I love to just idealize the shit out of everything. Even
Oh
the
yeah.
disappointment is kind
Ugh.
of a vibe. Like, I don't know.
See, I think this is why I can watch those reality shows and you
Mm.
can't.
Yes. Oof.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like emotionless,
That is
staring
not
at the
true.
screen. like, huh, that's nice.
What I
Like,
think is different about the two of you is
Mhm.
that with all your Virgo placements, Avi, you are able to very clearly delineate like these are not my emotions, these are not my
Mhm.
expectations. This is not me like feeling this,
Mhm.
and I do think Sam has a harder time with that boundary.
Mm.
So it like Sam kind of internalizes
Mhm.
those feelings and like what's going on, and like whether it's secondhand embarrassment or anger or
Mm.
sadness, like Sam
Oh
feels that
man.
very deeply,
Mhm.
whereas like you and me to even like a lesser degree, I have a hard time with reality shows if like too much weird stuff is going on. I get like I gotta go. But like I think you are just very clearly able to put those emotions in a different box
You're
that
right.
is labeled not mine.
Yeah,
Like
Right.
which is a
That's
Virgo
right.
moon, very Virgo moon of you.
yes.
But it might also be hard for you to access your feelings. It's like it's
Yes.
almost too much compartmentalizing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Absolutely.
It's
Oh
like
yeah.
did you lock the closet though? Did you did you forget where the key is? Like where are my feelings now? I can't find my feelings.
Well, see,
Where did I put them?
I have this big giant key ring, and it's not very well organized. So I have to like flip through every single key.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
By the
And
then
time
you're
you
like,
get
it's
what if
halfway
I
through,
just
you're
don't?
tired.
I'm tired, and honestly, is it even worth it?
Is it worth
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
My God.
Right.
I
Like
love it.
your emotions and other people's emotions that you're interpreting are
Mhm.
kind of like in these separate cabinets that you forgot to really label very well, but they're
Yeah.
all separate and in boxes.
That's
Whereas
right. They
Yes.
are separate.
Yep.
mine are like documents just spread out all over a
Right.
desk.
Right.
Oh my God. Like in college when we'd go to the
Yeah.
library and put our shit all over the tables.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Sam. I see
Exactly.
it. I see it.
And then I'm kind of like, I don't know what these are, but every single document I pick up is mine, actually.
Right.
Someone dropped their papers on your desk and like left,
Yeah.
and you are like, no, that's mine. That has my name all over it. Got it.
Right, right. It's like, well, I've seen it, so now
Now
like
it's mine.
now it's mine. Oops.
I'm gonna internalize that and make it
Exact-
a part of my personality.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now
Oh my
this is a
God.
greater theme for like everything I've been feeling these days. Even if I'm just watching literally like Love Island, I'm like, well, this is like a metaphor for life, actually.
Oh
Like,
my God. You're insufferable sometimes.
I
dude.
know.
Well, it kind of makes me think about the Capricorn placement
Mm.
in that, like, because we were talking about like it can kind of be like putting on a mask.
Yeah.
So, like
And
a rising placement, yes.
Mhm.
right, right. And that like, hmm, just that like compartmentalizing the emotions
Mhm.
means that I get to kind of choose what things I react to, I guess.
Mhm.
So even though like I feel the need to be like very authentic at all times and not really like put on a show,
Mm.
um, it is kind of like, oh well, but that isn't important, so I don't need to react to it. I don't know.
Mhm.
It still feels like the Virgo.
It's a
Yeah.
little bit of both.
Yeah, I would say that too. A Capricorn is also into like the logistics
Yes.
Mm.
or kind of like a cost
I do
benefit
love some
Mhm.
analysis.
logistics. I do love
Yeah,
some organization.
the cost benefit analysis is actually a perfect example
Yeah.
of like what you're describing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
what will it cost me to react to
Right.
this and show that
Mhm.
I'm excited? The cost ends up being the disappointment you might feel if you set up that expectation, right? And then
Right.
like and Capricorns don't like to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Virgos are
Like
more
it
okay with
yes.
that.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
they're more willing cuz Virgos are mutable earth,
Yes.
and they
Mhm.
also they're kind of like in the same, the Virgo Pisces are both associated with kind of like service to
Mhm.
others, so it's a
Mhm.
little more self-sacrificing than I think a
Mhm.
Capricorn is willing to be for their own benefit. Like a Virgo will put
Yes.
away their benefit for others
Mhm.
easily, but like, or more easily than a Capricorn, I should say. Where a Capricorn is a little more about like self-gain, I would say.
I do feel like that's kind of like an incremental change that's happened over my life where
Mm.
like I've
Mhm.
moved more into the like uh caring for myself and like prioritizing myself,
Mhm. Mhm.
which I think makes sense just like growing up. I think people tend to move towards that or move away from it.
Right.
Mhm.
um but I think that like when I was younger I was definitely way more focused on like serving other people and that being like my whole job.
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
and as I like learned more about myself and kind of like learned to actually like myself as a person,
Mhm.
I was
Mhm.
like, oh, that's kind of not working for me.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
still getting there, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard.
It's definitely hard,
Mhm.
especially when we're socialized to be the opposite, like
Yeah,
Yes.
to
yeah.
be quite selfless. And it's like, to what end can I possibly do
Right.
this? I'm never going to do anything that I want at that point.
Right.
Or
Right.
like I'm not even going to be able to access what I want, like knowing what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Um
You're not
if
gonna be
it's
able to
just
find that key.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I think it's such a selfish task to go and find the key, then I'm never going to do it.
Right.
If it's
Exactly.
that stigmatized. Um but I think something that we can learn from Capricorns or people with a strong Capricorn placement is like, no, you do need to put your needs first and like, show everyone else what you need to show them so that you can kind
Mhm.
of get where you need to go. And I think people
Yeah.
see that as inauthentic, like what you're saying, or
Mhm.
not necessarily what you think, but kind of
Mm-hmm.
what the conflict comes from.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
I think Capricorns also sort of struggle with that, but they're kind of looking out for themselves at the same time in a very
Mhm.
logical, unemotional way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So yeah, it is an interesting placement. I think a Capricorn rising is quite interesting. It can make people a little maybe morally superior as well. Like
Mm.
Mhm.
or just, I'm trying to find the words. Maybe like I kind of have to follow these rules, whether
Oh
it's like
yeah.
rules of society, rules that I've written for myself, and I can't really
Oh, I
go
got
beyond those
rules.
bounds. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think a Capricorn placement can make you struggle a bit with those things as well. Very strict boundaries, compared to
Mm-hmm.
other placements, I would say.
I
Mhm.
definitely do have very strict boundaries.
Yeah, and I feel like being that this is your rising sign, this Capricorn rising, like you're better at setting those boundaries with strangers right away
Mm.
Sure,
than other
absolutely.
signs might be, because like Gemini rising, Sam and
Oh
I are kind of
God.
like wishy-washy with how we set boundaries with new people,
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh
we have to
dear.
like know them for a minute to figure out
Mm-hmm.
the boundary versus like
Sure.
you can I feel like you have a much easier time setting that boundary immediately and being
Right.
like, all right, that's where you're going to stop
Well,
until we
yeah.
get closer.
Well, yeah. I'm like, we'll ease into it, bud.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep.
yeah.
I'm gonna keep you way over there.
Whereas for me, as a Gemini rising, and especially with Pisces, is awful with boundaries. So it's kind of like, oh, I'm a little curious about you. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna, interrogate you basically, and also
We're going to go all
overshare.
in.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be too much. Whereas with
Yes,
other
very quickly.
people, I think I come off as very aloof or like detached. It's
Right.
very opposite.
Yeah, it's an interesting balance to strike with the Gemini rising, and like meeting new people can be a little like it's fun and it's
Yeah.
often a good time, but it's
But then
also like,
afterward, I'm like, oh my
yeah,
god.
like,
Oh,
oh, I didn't like them at all.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like that interaction went terribly.
Yeah. I told them my whole life story and
Oops.
like, oops.
Oh,
Now they
yeah.
think we're close and I didn't like them.
Oh, yeah. I hate that. Like,
Oh man.
I tend to get very like strong gut instincts about people.
Mhm.
And if I don't get a positive one, then we're gonna take it real easy. Like, I
Like
definitely
arm's length.
yeah, I
kind of
definitely
thing.
like filter out my like closeness and friendliness, because it's like, well, you haven't like, is it bad if I say earned that from me
No,
yet?
I
No, I
want to
think that's
learn
valid.
this. I need to learn from this, I think.
I think it is like a form of like valuing yourself, you know? It's like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, well, I'm special, so like not everybody can, like, I can't spread all of like
Oh
that
my
out
god.
to everybody.
The Leo with the Virgo
Yeah,
and the Capricorn
this is
really
yes.
is wow, doing its thing.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
But you're right. That's the thing though. Like it's not even that what you're saying is like wrong or like out of pocket or something. Like it's exactly correct.
Yeah.
It's true of everyone,
Yeah.
whether they know it or not.
And
Like
like not
you are
everybody's gonna like
special.
you.
Yeah, and also
You're
you
gonna
need
be
to be
special
okay
to
with that.
someone.
You need to be okay with the fact that not
Absolutely.
everyone's gonna like you.
Please be okay with that.
It's not
Yeah.
mandatory. Okay.
I get a strong gut instinct about people as well, but I think I'm like a benefit of the doubt, which is so
Mhm.
annoying because they're for what? For
Yeah.
what?
For whom?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Not
some
me. That doesn't
Yeah.
benefit me.
Right.
some people get benefit of the doubt, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I will
And it's only to a point.
I will easily feel guilty for having a bad gut feeling about someone. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I should just give them a chance or maybe it was a bad day." And or you know, they will overshare to me something that I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, this person was going through something so terrible and I judged them or whatever." But like they can still not be a great person. You know?
No, absolutely.
And then I'll figure that out later and then I'll be like, "Well, should I trust what I'm feeling about people at all?" Like I think I struggle with that a lot. I wish I
Mhm.
could be a little more like careful with how people are around me, but I don't know. It gets so mixy very quickly.
Yes, it really
Yeah.
does though.
I tend to like waver towards like, I have strong gut instincts, but I'm always like moderately skeptical of my own
Yeah.
feelings, because like
Mhm.
obviously I'm impacted by all sorts of other factors.
Mm.
Right.
So like not everything I think right off the bat is going to be true. So like
Yeah.
you have to give other people space to like, you know, prove themselves one way or
Exactly.
another, but
Right, right, right.
Mhm.
you also have to give yourself space to like be right or wrong.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh
Oh,
man.
so interesting.
Socializing with people has been a mess. Like I thought it was going well, but I'm kind of like, get me off this island now. I need to hang out with people I know well and like I'm comfortable with, I think.
It's about that time to
It's about that time. A few more weeks.
gather your people close and
Thank God.
chill for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Mm.
goodness. I like I love your Leo sun and how like it's so dwarfed by all of the earth. Like it's such a strong placement and obviously it still comes through, but I also know you really well, so I like get to see the Leo bits, like the little bit of like pride that you kind of keep away from other people.
I do tend to reserve that. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're not someone who's like prideful, but you not openly, I would say. Okay, here's my caveat.
Oh no,
Yes.
it's all internal.
You don't come off to like other people or people that you don't know well as someone who is quite prideful. But I was also talking about this with another one of our friends this week about how like Virgos have this prideful streak too.
Absolutely.
So you having the Leo and the Virgo, and like it's your Leo sun and Virgo moon, these very like this forward and ostentatious way, and also in this like quiet emotional way.
Mm,
Like I think you balance it really well in a way that doesn't feel aggressive, I guess, or like, yeah, you don't make people feel bad
Mm.
with like your pride. Do you like, you're not using it as like a superiority thing, I
right.
guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You're not coming off that way, but you definitely believe in the words you say, and
Mm.
which like some people don't, which is maybe why I'm like making
Well,
that
yeah, I
distinction.
mean
But
Virgo
like,
and Mercury as well.
and
Moon
Mercury, right?
Mercury
So
is
you
conjunct, so
have a lot of confidence in your words and your actions and
yeah.
the way you're feeling, and you're a little bit more analytical about it, which I feel like balances the impulsive Leo sun, or what can
Right.
be an impulsive sun sign.
Mm.
Like, I mean, I could go on and on about how wonderful you are. Let
Yeah.
me like not,
Oh.
but like I just really love your chart. I think it's so interesting that you have so much Virgo, but you are like, and you're very Virgo. Let me, you're very Virgo. As a Virgo sun, I identify with you, but like you are so not like the Virgo man. Do you know what I mean? Virgo men,
Oh.
insufferable.
I mean, Leo men too.
Leo men can
True.
be a lot. That's true.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like these signs that are very difficult with the patriarchy, I guess, and like the way men are raised
Uh-huh.
is
Oh
Uh-huh.
like
dear.
so different. I mean, you have
Like
a
with the
unique
Capricorn
experience with
rising
that, but
too.
it's like,
Like
yes, and the
you
Capricorn
should be
rising.
screaming toxic man.
Yes,
And
you
yet
should, and you don't.
Rip me.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
It's
so
good.
what happened to where you're chill? Like
What happened?
Yeah. like where like if we
I
said
mean, we know what
Well.
happened, but
well,
like,
yeah. That's not what I was referring to.
I know. Oh,
But if we
man.
said this to an astrologer and they were
Mhm.
like, this must be a very manipulative, like for my own
Mm.
benefit, like
Mhm.
take it,
Mhm.
maybe not I shouldn't say take advantage of people, but it's kind of like reading people
Yeah.
in a
Well,
way, and like, not trusting what people say and thinking that you
uh-huh.
kind of know them too well. Like,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Like those kind of
Yeah.
people who are like, I know you better than you know you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what this could be. Very
Yeah, yeah.
easily.
I
Very
think that
easily.
I think that like I have that within me.
Mhm.
Right.
And it's something that I have always like observed within myself and
Mm,
been like, like why?
right.
Yep.
And kind of tried to challenge
Mhm.
because, well, obviously I wasn't raised male. So first off, I got a leg up on uh like questioning myself and not just
Mhm.
Mm,
like believing that what I think is the automatic truth.
Mhm.
mm.
Um, but also
Because
like,
that's how AFAB people are taught to be. That
or
we're not allowed to know what we're talking
right,
about.
exactly, yeah.
Anyway.
That you're probably not right. You
Mhm.
should probably like check your facts.
You should probably check in with a man.
Yeah.
Fuck
Oh.
off.
And like you're probably just like being emotional, and that's not
Oh.
really like
Oh.
that's not fact. So let's look at the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like your brain's not as logical, so
um,
I was like, oh, really?
I could scream.
That's
I
wild.
could fully scream.
Yeah.
but like first off, like
Hmm.
I don't know, going to social work school really changed me.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about the world and just learned that like you have to question everything.
Mm.
Hmm.
Like everything you're told is probably based in something like racist, ableist, or
Some kind of
classist.
bias.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Certainly, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, and so like also like I'm white, so I had to realize that like that's especially true for me because I don't
Mm.
have personal experience that would like contradict a lot of the stuff that I'd been told.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like being like growing up and becoming an adult has been to me a lot of like just re-educating myself, and in doing that, like I've learned to use kind of my like my analytical side and my like in a lot of ways quick to judge side to my
Mhm.
advantage, in that like you know like I'll like hear myself say some random colloquialism and I'm like, oh, I don't actually know where that comes from, and I automatically look it
And
up,
it's
you
always
know.
bad.
Mhm. It's
It's always
always
bad.
bad.
It's
It's always
always
bad.
pretty
But
much
it
always bad.
but at
Yeah.
least I know how it's bad now and I'll stop
Right.
using it.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
um
Honestly, actually, that Mercury in Virgo,
uh-huh.
Yes, I was just thinking this.
and like your chart says that your Mercury and Moon are conjunct. I guess they're close enough. They're within like 8 degrees, so very very close.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
that makes me, to me, that seems like you're very careful in the words you use
Oh,
Mhm.
when I learned that other people don't think, like I literally think
before they
out the words.
speak.
Yeah, I think out
Yeah.
every word I'm going to say before I speak. And I
Right.
learned that people don't do that.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
always do that.
Which is fine. Like some I honestly wish that I could do that at times.
Mhm.
Because sometimes I feel like am I being too like precise about the words I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like am I actually speaking from my like true feelings, or am I just like
You're
constantly
definitely filtering them, but it's because you want to get the message across in the
Yes.
best way so it's not
right,
misunderstood.
right.
I could see that being very important to you. Like I
But
don't
Mhm.
I
want to
also don't want to be viewed a certain way, you know? Like
Right.
Exactly.
that's I
Right.
think my
Exactly.
Leo placement is big in that like I I do understand other people really well, and so I think through how other people are going to interpret me a lot,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and that affects like how I present myself.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And I can also see, even though you're not currently practicing social work, I could see you being able to very well interpret what someone else is going through or what they're feeling
Mhm.
and say it back to them in the best way that
Mhm.
they understand. Like people don't
Yes.
always are not always able to put their feelings into words. And that's not even necessarily something that Virgos are good at.
Mhm.
No.
But I think especially the moon and Mercury being together, and Mercury or Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so that like
Mhm.
preciseness and sort of like the most very clarity of, what am I trying to say? A very
Clear.
clear communication of like feelings. Clear.
Yes.
Clear.
You were stuck on clarity,
I know,
clarification.
yeah.
No, and like that's like a really good feeling to me too. Like
Mhm.
being able to provide that for somebody,
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
just makes me feel like closer to that person. It makes me feel like I'm like, you know, doing that like service moment.
Hmm.
Don't like
Yeah.
the word service, but like
Or just usefulness.
just useful. Yeah. Just like I'm
Helpful.
doing something
Yeah.
that is helping you in this moment. And that makes me feel like, I don't know, not important, but like I have
Like
like,
fulfilled a
yeah,
bit.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Very Virgo of you.
yeah.
Like, oh, I'm being helpful.
Like, this is
Yeah.
Yes.
nice.
Yes, you
It's
are being
interesting
helpful, Virgo.
because like
Yeah. I love to be helpful.
yeah, but like I was saying with the like Virgo pride, there is pride in being able to help and assist and take care of
Hmm.
others. And
Mhm.
like I think this and you going into social work makes so much sense to me for that reason. I feel like your chart speaks directly to social work for me. Like a
Mm.
lot of your upper chart, your outward chart is
Mm-hmm.
very,
Mhm.
very tuned to sensitive, helpful work like that.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
like it makes sense that you were drawn to that, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Even your Leo sun, it makes you approachable, right? The
Yeah.
Leo sun
Yeah.
makes you approachable because you are friendly, you are charming, you are like ready to be there for someone. The Capricorn rising, sorry, was that like too much? I'm just like trying to like
I'm
explain what I
charming.
mean. Sorry.
It's true though. It's true.
It's true.
Oh my god.
Then the Capricorn rising, I feel like maybe you didn't realize it at the time, but I feel like that's very helpful and very sensitive and um maybe situations where you need to put on your brave face to deal with it. Do you know what I do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like maybe you didn't realize it at the time, or like you weren't as in tune with your chart as much or anything like that, but like it might be really, it was probably very helpful for you in those situations.
I'm definitely good at like crisis management. Like
Yes.
when shit goes bad, like I get very calm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, between the Virgo, who's like the ever hovering mother,
Yes.
ready to like
That's exactly what I was
help
gonna say.
right
Yeah.
away.
Like that coworker that says that thinks you're a Cancer or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think people call Cancer the mother of the zodiac because it is like what it's associated with.
Right.
But it's kind of like the more emotional part of being a mother, and like
Mm-hmm.
kind of these very extreme feelings that people don't understand unless they're a mother, if that makes sense. But
Mm-hmm.
Virgos are like the experienced mother, like
Yes.
strict, maybe a bit overbearing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then on the flip
helicopter
side,
parent a little
yes,
bit.
definitely a helicopter parent, but like an older, more experienced mom that is like, I don't deal with your bullshit, but like, here's what you need. Okay, I'll take care of that. Don't worry about it. And then
Yeah.
Capricorn is kind of like that reliable father figure too. It's like, oh, my
Yeah,
car
and you've
broke
got
down. What do I
both.
do?
Yes, your
Dad.
cat that
So you're saying
that
I have
placement.
mommy and daddy
Yes,
energy?
that
Yes.
is exactly what I'm getting to, Avi. You got it.
Yeah, I feel like you just have this way that like is confidence in crisis, which is very important, very Capricorn. Virgos definitely have this too, but
Yes,
can be a
definitely.
little more almost a little less contained actually in a Virgo. You can see the crisis on a Virgo's face. But you having the Virgo in your Mercury and then like your moon, these more emotional placements, you can like we've kind of been talking about, you can compartmentalize these emotions, whether you're taking them on from someone that you're working with or your own that come up in the face of this emotional moment.
Right.
Like you can put it in the box, put it to the side.
We'll deal with the
be
trauma
there.
later.
Yes, we can deal with it later.
Exactly.
We can talk about this later. You know, journal about it later. But right now, I need to be focused, present, and not lost in my own thoughts, my own headspace.
Well, yeah, because who else is going to do it?
Exactly. They can't do it. That's why they came to you. That's why they're here. They couldn't do it. You know, it's so, I don't know. It just, you are definitely someone with a chart that leans towards helpfulness. And I don't want to say service because that's like,
it's weird and like
not a word that you prefer.
It's not Christian-y.
I don't want to use it because you don't like it, but it definitely leans towards that kind of area, like
not
helping other humans.
Yeah, not that there's anything wrong with it. It's just that it's often used in a context that I feel like I'm being like roped into that I don't want to be included in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I feel that way too. Because like in any career assessment or like I don't know any quiz about like what kind of work you should go into, I also always got service.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and at one point I was Christian, and so it was always like, oh, you're a servant to God and your community. And it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would put it that way, but that is, you know, like I would like to be a steward to my community, but even that also sounds a little weird.
Yeah. It just feels like, you know, when we like continue to use like random archaic words just because they're biblical. And like obviously service isn't one of those, but for some reason
so tied up in the Christian lexicon.
Yeah. And it just feels like one of those like, you know, we live in a Christian society things.
Yeah. I definitely get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
the nuance of language.
But like definitely there are people who are much more capable to help others.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what wording we should come up with for that, but that is definitely a thing. That is definitely part of your chart for sure.
Yeah, and it's weird because like it's always kind of a conflict to like want to help others because you don't want to be like it's a dangerous position to put yourself in.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. You
for
have
a
to be
lot of,
very protective of yourself at the same time, and that
Yes.
balance is very hard.
and also
Absolutely.
be really, really careful of how you're inserting yourself into someone else's life.
Right.
Because like that can go bad so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And a
Yeah.
lot of people do it for really fucked up reasons.
Yes.
And
so
like
true.
the whole system is messed up.
Right.
If we're talking social work or really any like
Like
segment
community.
of
Yeah.
like communities work
Mm.
service.
Yeah, I know, community health services
Yeah.
and things like that. All of
Anything
those
like
things.
that.
Yeah,
It can be really tricky.
tricky, a little
Mhm.
sticky.
Yeah.
Prickly.
Especially if you like, you know, a little prickly. Especially if you have like, you know, the ability to be a little, what's the word you used for my chart? Like not full of yourself, but
prideful.
like a superiority complex.
that.
Yeah, that.
Oh yeah, if you have that tendency and you have this like this kind of chart that's like, I need to be involved, I can help you.
Oh,
Right?
dear.
It's
ooh,
dangerous.
Well,
oof.
now everyone's my project.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
Oh
it's
god.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
And that, like, I love these conversations about people's charts because we get into this kind of territory where it's like,
Yes.
yeah, okay, this all sounds really nice, but like the flip side of that is that
Exactly.
I get overly involved and
Mhm.
insert myself where I shouldn't be because I think I can help. Like,
Or people come to
oh,
me as a fixer-upper
Yeah.
for
yes,
everything.
exactly.
Yeah.
This like, yeah, I'm too charming now. You think I can help you with everything. I
Oh,
know I
dear.
have this air of knowing what I'm doing, but I'm still just here.
Right. Relatable. Literally what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I'm still just here
Yeah.
trying to get through just like you.
Right.
And
Just because you're medium slaying.
Exactly.
here's the thing, a medium slay is a personal objective, a personal activity.
Exactly.
This is
This
not
has
a
gone
medium
too-
slay
this-
for me
this
and everyone
terminology-
else.
This
is not a-
terminology is going too far.
No, it doesn't. Not far enough.
This is not a group medium slay.
Yes, it's not too far until we have merch, okay?
I could do that.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm on board suddenly.
Sam's like, this has gone too far.
Wait.
Wait, we can have merch.
Wait.
Imagine a medium slay tote bag. Wait.
Oh my god.
Crying. Anyway.
Anyway.
Anyway, I really like your chart, but the outward
Thanks.
part, I can see like where you might struggle, where you have struggled, and like where you've had to become just like incredibly self-aware, which is, you know, a Virgo specialty. I feel
Yeah.
like we are all up in our heads all the time.
All the time.
I know every nook and cranny of that bitch, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
know that I have filed away some things, and I know that I don't want to open them. Probably threw that key away. So
And you know what? That was probably for a good reason.
it probably was, and I can't remember the reason now because that went with the key.
Someday in therapy.
Maybe I'll find the key again. The Virgo Venus is very interesting to me, though.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, you
Yeah.
love your Venusian signs.
I do
Venusian.
love a Venusian assessment, okay? Because
Doesn't Virgo live in Venus?
no, Mercury.
Mercury. Okay.
Mhm. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo.
Okay.
So your Venus being in Virgo,
Is
I'm like, how closely do you analyze all of your
it's like
relationships?
very trans of me.
It's very trans of me. Okay. Actually, no, that's actually a good point because you assessing every single relationship you have is still tied back to your identity, right? Like,
Sure.
as a trans person. So
Sure.
you have to like sometimes carefully assess
Oh
when
yeah,
you are entering a new
whether or not
relationship.
I can trust somebody,
Exactly.
whether or
That's a
not I
huge thing
can,
for you.
yeah, trust somebody to literally just let you know like a single layer beneath me who I
Yeah.
am.
It's
Like,
it's
and that's like
I
a
don't know.
matter of like life and death safety.
Mm.
Yes, truly. Like, oh man, to be that constantly aware of every relationship you have, friendship, whatever, like you still have to be aware of your familial relationships, your friend
Mhm.
relationships,
Mm.
your romantic relationships. Every single one has to be carefully assessed and calculated before you like
Yeah.
really commit.
And I think, you know, if we're going down to like attachment based shit,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely have a lot of like abandonment fears.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that leads me to be very wary of people.
Mm-hmm.
I can put up walls very, very fast,
Yep.
even with people that I am like fully open to, you know?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, same.
Like my switch can be flipped very quickly.
Mm.
Yes.
And that's not to say that I can't put those barriers back down, but there's always like the knowledge that they were there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
so like I'm very careful with other people if like because like you said, like it can take a long time until somebody like suddenly shows you something where you're like,
Yes.
oh.
Yeah.
And I'm
Definitely.
like constantly waiting for that other shoe to drop with people, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like.
And I don't know if you relate to this, but I don't like being like that feeling that I was naive about someone. So I would
Yes.
No.
much
I
rather
hate that
be
shit.
overly suspicious
Mm-hmm.
so that if anything comes up, well, like, oh, well, I knew
Like,
that
I
all
knew it.
along.
I knew it.
Yep.
Called it.
I knew it. I knew it. And that's why I didn't open up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Isn't
And
this
that's the
terrible?
reason.
The Libra Venus
Yeah.
is screaming over here
I
for us.
know.
Yeah.
Ugh,
It's difficult, but I definitely relate to what you're saying.
it's
So
so
are you
hard.
describing, okay, this is not my field, but are you describing an avoidant attachment then?
Oh wow, how could you ask me that?
Oh, sorry, I don't know. I was just curious.
No, well, about that, I was more thinking about kind of experiences that I've had
Right.
Mm-hmm.
in my like growing up, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of more like my early teenage years.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those formative years.
Oh,
Right,
Wow.
right.
yeah.
Um, so like to be like fully transparent, it's more about like kind of experiencing like my family breaking up,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
and kind of losing a bit of the like relationship that I had
Mm-hmm.
with my parents,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of feeling that like responsibility to kind of be in charge of like creating those relationships.
Mm.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's informed a lot of how I approach my like friendships and relationships now,
Mm.
if that
That's
makes
so
sense.
Yeah, no,
interesting.
that definitely makes
Absolutely.
sense.
That's so
Yeah,
interesting.
going through things like that in adolescence is so difficult because I think when we're in that stage of life, we think that it's all established. Like it's
Yes.
not going to change again.
Like my parents are adults.
Right.
They've chosen
Yeah.
each other.
Right.
That's it. That's the end.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
when you're a teenager forming these like, learning about your own sexuality and then like how you want to go about finding someone in life if you want to do that, like to watch a relationship fall apart in front of you is very hard.
Yeah, and
Like,
I also I don't know if this is a part of it, but I feel like we think of our adult relationships too early on. Like
Oh,
we're
yes.
already
absolutely.
starting to
Yes.
idealize those when we're still children.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of like seeing too many examples of things and thinking of which one we want. Like we're not going to
Yes.
know those things that we want until we're experiencing them as adults.
For sure.
But we're
Absolutely.
kind of like, oh yeah, this is what I want. I want to like get married by this age, and like that was so normal at the time.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
like I feel like I have a completely different idea of what I want in relationships compared to when I was a teenager. Like I had no
Yep.
idea compared to now. But
It's funny
Same.
because when I was when I was a teenager,
Mm.
honestly, throughout the majority of my, like, once I left childhood and hit,
Mhm.
like, you know, 11, 12, like puberty,
Mhm.
and
Right.
suddenly I'm like started to like think about my future. Like, all I wanted was to not be a kid anymore. Like, all I wanted was to
Isn't that
be
wild?
like at this point in life.
I did the same thing.
And
I was like, I want to
yeah,
grow up now. I'm
oh,
tired of being here.
and
Right.
honestly, like, I don't fully disagree with myself. I am happier to be here in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But wow, it's really not nearly like as much better as I thought it was going to be,
Mhm,
just because there's so
Right.
much other shit you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all that's to say that, like, I still didn't like really generally think of what, like, I didn't tell myself like, oh, my life is going to look a certain way
Right.
when I'm, you know, a full grown adult and on my own.
Right.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I didn't like necessarily idealize those expectations.
That's interesting.
Like, I was surprised to get married. I still am surprised I'm married.
Yeah. Yeah. Each day you're like, oh, still married.
I'm like, huh, that did happen.
Well, you were talking
so
to us
funny.
about like different eras in your life. Do you think
Mhm.
married life is like the new era you're stepping into, or do you think it's not defining this time period? I don't know how you, because me, as I don't even know, I can't even fathom married life.
I
It sounds
mean,
like
yeah, married life as a term just
Right,
sounds
exactly. Like, how
really
do you even
like,
feel about that as a
it sounds like a
married
TV
person?
show to
it
me.
does, yeah.
Exactly.
No, I mean, it's just honestly, it's just a continuation of a
Mhm.
part of my life that has already been existing for
Yeah.
like
Right.
6 years before that.
Right. This isn't one of those things that felt like a
Like a new
new
phase.
era, a new
No,
thing.
But
not
yeah, but
really.
I think we're
Yeah.
it's so ingrained that it is that,
Right.
which
Right.
is so,
It's so
you know what
interesting
I
to hear
mean?
you say
Like,
that.
But like, nothing was going to change
right.
about my relationship, you know?
Which I think a lot of people forget, or like the expectation is set up that things are different when you're married.
Well, yeah, a
Why?
lot of people get married and then within a year or two they have kids.
Right.
Yeah,
And
which
that
would
was
be a huge change.
right. Of course that would be a huge change. Like
Yeah.
Kind of a
That
big
is a
deal.
new era.
Kind
like-
of a big deal. Yeah.
like,
Pre-kids and post-kids.
I got married and then we went back to living in the same house we've been living in for like 2.5 years
Right.
with the
Mhm.
same pets and the
Right.
same jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of, I mean, I think at one point maybe it was. I don't know why that's like changing now. I think a lot of people feel the same way. My sister
Yeah.
felt the same way, like
If you like moved in with your partner
after
when you got
marriage.
married, or if
Yeah. Which, like,
I
red
feel like
flag.
that
anything
maybe.
changed about your relationship.
After marriage,
Yeah.
then like maybe.
Yeah.
But I
But
feel
like,
like that's
aren't you
happening
getting
less.
well, yeah, shouldn't you be getting married to somebody because you're like sure that what you're already doing is working?
I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's a concept.
Or you can go on Love is Blind
Oh
and find somebody
my gosh.
in like 3 days by just talking to them, and then get married to them
Do
2
they
weeks
get
later.
married? Wait, they get married?
They have a wedding. They have a wedding, and then they have to decide at the altar if they're getting married.
The drama.
That's scary,
Okay,
dude.
I kind of get why you watch this now. This is hilarious.
It's so funny.
Holy
God.
shit. Oh,
That's
you know, it's
scary.
funny. I think I feel so even more clueless about marriage because now I've never been like in friend groups with a lot of South Asians
Mhm.
until now, because like now I'm around a lot more of them in med
Right.
school. Can you believe it?
In med school?
Stereotypes are real.
Sam.
Anyway, but they're talking about, like, I was in a group of people and they were talking about rishta, which is like arrangements.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And like, I'm not shocked that this exists. I understand that this exists, but
Right.
it's so outside of anything I was brought up with. Like, I was never brought up with the even like potential of like you're gonna have an arranged marriage ever,
Mhm.
because my parents are so against it.
Yeah.
So like, to hear people my age, even younger, because I'm older than quite a few students, like talk about, oh, this is what I'm looking for in a husband, and like my parents are looking for this kind of person, and I'm like, what? And like, yeah,
Oh
like
my God.
if you're building all of this into like your idea of what it
Sure.
means to get married, like to
Mhm.
get married, then like, yeah, that does seem like a completely different era of
Yeah,
life.
it's going to be a big ass
Right.
change.
Right.
Yeah.
And
You're
like
going to
these
be
are people
suddenly
finishing.
living with someone that you've like never really interacted with.
Yes. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm getting, I'm going to med school, and then the next phase of life is being married. And it's like,
Well,
Mhm.
what?
it's like starting a new relationship. I would say
Yeah.
that starting a new relationship feels like a life
Sure.
change
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're starting it with the goal of like
forever.
this. Yeah.
My God.
So I
With the
think
intention of forever.
That's
It's
maybe
right.
not even,
that's why
it's
it's been on
like,
my mind of like, is marriage this scary thing? Because I think they've made it way scarier than it should be,
Right.
I guess.
Or
Yeah.
than it needs to be.
Mhm.
Yeah, much more than it needs to be. But I mean, I guess
Although
those
it's
are
still fucking scary.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
I'm sure.
terrified. Like day of, I had a stressy morning.
Really.
Mhm.
Yeah. I like me and my best friend, who was one of my best boys. um we went and like got tacos for everybody that morning.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Um
Like
and
breakfast tacos? I
yeah,
don't know. This is important to the story. Sorry, go
breakfast
on.
tacos, yeah. We got breakfast tacos, mostly like bean and potato, I
Okay.
think.
Oh, I like
Yummy.
these details
Um
actually.
with oh, this place makes really good salsa verde.
Tori and details. Gimme, gimme,
Yeah,
gimme,
I
gimme,
know. I
gimme.
love food, man. I love food.
But the wedding venue was like 45 minutes out of town. So we
Mm.
drove all the way into town to pick them up and then drove back.
Uh-huh.
Um, and so we spent like an hour and a half, and I needed that to just like sit there with my best friend and be like,
Right.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
This is a
Hanging in the
lot.
car with your best friend.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Oh my God. Yeah. That
There's nothing like it.
Yeah.
there's nothing like it.
Yeah. And we've been best friends since high school. So like that
Yeah.
like
Cute.
long-term connection is there. You
Ugh.
feel very
Yeah.
safe and supported.
But what were you just nervous about the performance of the wedding?
Oh, big time for sure. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Like,
hate the idea of being in the spotlight.
Yeah.
as a Leo.
Contrary to
Leo?
your Leo sun.
Listen, the truth, can I tell you the truth about Leos?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
So the truth is that like we want to be in the spotlight.
Uh-huh.
We want it to be about us, but nobody can be
Ugh.
looking at us.
Okay.
Okay.
You're also a streamer, so this is hard to believe.
So, but I don't have anybody's eyes on me.
Like
It's
literally,
physically.
it's just the camera.
Like I can't see you watching me.
I can't see you
Uh-huh.
seeing me.
Yeah. Maybe I should have worn a blindfold or something.
At your wedding.
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean, I
Um,
also find that aspect kind of
I think a big thing
ridiculous.
for me,
daunting.
a big thing for me was also like I don't have a like conventional relationship.
right.
Mhm.
Like being non-monogamous and getting married is not something that like people are super familiar with or like
Right,
have
right,
any
right.
like major context for.
Right.
So I was kind of scared that like other people's interpretation of my marriage
Ugh.
was
Mm.
going to be false.
Yeah.
And honestly that doesn't matter because like
True.
when is anyone's interpretation of anyone's relationship completely correct, you know?
Yep.
So I think, I just had to remind myself that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I was there for me and for my partner and like that's it.
Yeah. I actually, that is a very good kind of way to look at your Venus in Virgo, because it's kind of, Virgos worry a lot about their perception of other
Yeah.
people's perception of them.
Mhm.
I know that because my one Virgo placement is my Chiron, which is very much like I need people to see like my life journey and my like healing journey
Yeah.
as perfect. And
Yeah,
it's like
Yep.
no one needs to be involved in that actually.
Right.
Actually,
In
Yeah.
fact, when other people are involved, it kind of ruins it sometimes.
Yes,
Yep.
yes. But Virgos are very like, oh, I didn't perform this well, or I didn't like people are gonna see me as not doing something perfectly or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And it's
yeah.
always like just calm down. I think it's gonna be fine.
Right.
But I think that's a very hard lesson for
I think you might be
Virgo
overthinking
placements.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, overthinking.
Overthinking. I mean, you only have overthinking in your chart, so
What do
you're
you
doomed.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, like we joke about Jordan being Venusian,
Yeah,
even though she is a mercurial. She's
I
mercurial
am.
actually. Your chart is ruled by Saturn,
Mhm.
which is going along so much with all of this like sense of responsibility or like
Yeah,
reliability to others, and even like viewing the different eras of your life
Uh-huh.
and like life
absolutely.
lessons. And
Uh-huh.
this goes along a
Yeah,
lot with your chart, so like this
it's
is quite normal for you to be this
yeah.
way.
It's actually so funny to me that like I don't know. I actually lost my train of thought midway through.
That's
So
okay.
sorry. Like,
Okay,
That's fine.
then
Yeah,
tell me
but
more about Saturn.
I'll
yeah,
think
so
about it.
I was looking through in your chart about like your Saturn placements, and a lot of it is like you look for the problems to solve. And I'm like, wow, that all of that Virgo and a Saturn ruled chart is just like, who's gonna solve your problems? Are you good?
I don't
Mm,
know. I want someone to, but I have to
Yeah.
do it.
so much
Yeah,
outward responsibility and not
Yeah.
enough.
definitely. And like a need to be like orderly
Mm-hmm.
a bit.
Definitely.
Um,
Oh my god. Wait, sorry.
What?
what?
I'm just thinking about like yeah, you do have all of these outward placements and then you've got this like really soft Libra Mars that like wants to be pampered typically.
Oh my
Like,
god.
it just is sitting there
It's really
and is
hard
like
to like communicate that
yes.
because
Yes.
clearly that's not the vibe I'm giving off.
Yes.
Right. You're
Your
giving
vibe
off
is
this
like
very powerful like
exactly.
Like, I don't need
definitely outwardly
anybody, like
responsible
nobody take
and
care of
yeah.
me. But
Yes.
actually
But
But
actually I would
hold
love
me
for you
close.
if I'm close to you, I would actually love for you to just take care of me for
Yeah.
once so I don't have to do everything.
yeah.
Like
But also if
absolutely.
you're taking care of me and I notice that you seem like
Yep.
like it's
Immediately
too
you will
much,
switch gears.
yeah,
You
I'm
will
gonna stand
switch
up and do it
gears.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
When we finally get to hang, I'm gonna make you sit down. Okay.
Actually,
Stop it.
if I like have company over, I have a really hard time sitting down
Oh yeah.
because I'm just up and I'm
Yeah.
like in the
Yeah.
kitchen. I'm like, can I
Like, do
get
you
you
need
a
a
Yeah.
glass of
drink?
water?
Do you want me to
I
make some
will
coffee? Do you want to
a
like
perfect host.
do you want to
Like
like
sure.
walk around and I can introduce you to all my plants? Or do you want to just like sit there?
I'll bring them to you. That's
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Do you
I
want
will
to,
bring you each plant.
or
Even
maybe,
the outside ones.
or maybe do you want like a fashion show?
Honestly, yes, though. Actually.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm gonna make you sit down. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, obviously, sit down.
I'm not gonna come to your house. That's another problem
Yeah,
though. If I'm
yeah.
in your space, you're gonna feel this need to not be in
Mm.
control,
I'm
but
the
just
host.
like be a perfect host and be like, okay, how can I take care of you while you're in my home? And I'm gonna take you out of your house. I'm gonna make you sit down and be like, Avi, what can I do for you? What do you need?
I was gonna be like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I lost that key.
SpongeBob memes. Where did we put his knees? We can't find his knees. Oh my god.
But yes, definitely.
That is like an overarching thing I have been working on the past. I feel like the past like year or since the new year. Not that I
Mhm.
make New Year's resolutions because
Mm.
I don't like that.
Right.
Mhm.
But
Fair.
I do think that I've been kind of pushing myself because I realized that unfortunately, if I don't address my needs, it will
Mhm.
eventually get to the point where I'm not taking good care of other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's like the worst outcome.
Mhm.
Is like me forgetting about myself to the point that it's like rubbing off on the people I care about.
Mhm.
And I feel like I kind of got to that point. And so I've been like readjusting, recalibrating, and realizing that like there is actually point behind caring for myself.
Mhm.
Definitely. And, telling other people your needs,
Yep.
like reaching out to
Communicating
others.
your needs.
That is a
Yeah.
very hard part.
Yes, that is a definitely hard part, but I feel like the first time you do it is the hardest, and then you
Mhm.
realize how much easier it can make things.
So listen to this.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm listening.
So
Yeah.
what if when people meet my needs without me asking, it's
Uh,
better?
okay, hold on.
Okay,
Well,
here we go. Here we go.
Okay, the sigh we just sighed collectively. Because here's the thing.
Oh,
I agree.
oh my
Do you
god.
think in my 28 years that has ever worked?
Right?
Why can't
Here-
people be psychic to my needs like I'm psychic to their needs?
Yeah, I'm psychic.
Avi, do you not hear how obnoxious this sounds?
Oh, 100% I do. And
Here's
these
the
are
thing. What is your partner's sun sign? Do you at least know?
Catherine's a Leo and Nico's
Oh,
a Capricorn.
Mhm.
Capricorn.
What's funny is that
Oh.
they have their moon and rising swapped.
Oh.
They're
Nico's a
both
Pisces moon.
and Sagittarius rising.
Oh, and Catherine's Sag
Oh.
Moon and
Mm-hmm.
Pisces rising.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm.
Whoa.
Hold
Whoa.
on. Hold on.
Oh my
That's
god.
a lot of psychic energies happening.
Energy.
It is. It's so funny, but like
It's
they come
interesting.
from different emotional places
Yes.
at the same time, but like both have the ability
Mm-hmm.
to read what you're wanting and what you're asking for, and are maybe
Right.
hindered by other things in their life. But
If
like,
you're putting on a show of like, I got
yeah,
it together
Right.
and I can help you with
like
what you need.
they don't feel like they need to do that for you.
Yeah, and I try to be better about that with the people I'm the
Mhm.
closest to, you know,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
clearly if I'm that close to you, I've gotten to the point where I will sometimes ask for what I need.
It's hard. It's hard.
But
I
it's
know
hard, yeah.
firsthand
It's
that
hard.
it's very
It's always
hard.
hard.
It's very difficult. And yeah. What's cool is that if you ask for what you need once,
Yeah.
you might be able to get it later on without asking
Without
for
asking.
Yeah.
Because people can kind
it.
of
Because then
understand that you
yeah,
need it.
they'll know ahead of time.
It's definitely true. But I also need to work on this as well. I feel like especially when I observe that I'm starting to feel resentful that other
Oh yeah.
people
Mhm.
can just like ask for what they want and get it. That's a very terrible way of putting it. But
Right.
like when people can be like, "Oh, I just like need, I need some space, I need some time." And then I'm like, "Well, I never asked for those things." And then it's like, "Wait, I never asked for those things."
Like, who are you
Me.
actually mad with in this moment?
Exactly. And then I'm like, "Oh, well, like I'm, kind of bitter that someone else is able to do this. It's not the fact
Right.
that they're like, any kind of flawed or whatever it is.
Mhm.
People
Yeah.
just need help sometimes."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a difficult one. And, I think that's a big theme of your chart for sure. You probably
Mhm.
didn't even think we would discuss today.
But here we are.
Here we
Yeah.
are. We know all the deets now.
That's right.
It's
You got the
so-
deets.
It's so hard. Like thinking about this and then like looking at your chart, just think you've got all these earth signs stacked in front of your Mars, which is pretty like pretty inward,
Mhm.
kind of like it's about your Mars is about you, right? It's
Mhm.
not necessarily about an external portrayal all the time. Sometimes it is because it helps with work, like in your career and stuff. But
Mhm.
like you have all of these earthy walls in front of this like airy Libra placement. There's no way this air sign is going to be able to push to the front past Virgo and Leo and Capricorn.
No.
Do you know what I mean? So like it's easy to see why you would get like why you have this reticence to express what you need and like where those needs are coming from. You're fully aware.
Right.
But it's just like asking that of someone else, expecting that when you're the one who quote unquote has it all together and like is always helping others, and you like to do that, so it's not even a hardship that you do this. It's just that like you then, like you said, you have to consider your needs and do what's good for you at the same time, because you're not gonna be able to help anyone without helping yourself also, or first, or
and like
ever.
the quality of what I can give people will deteriorate.
Yes, which is something that you care about.
It's
something
sad, it's hard
all
to
these
watch.
Virgo placements very much care about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Quality over quantity. Every time.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Oh my god.
This chart is great. I sent you the whole file. I encourage you to read through it.
Yeah.
When you have time.
But I feel definitely like you're pretty familiar with your chart though, but those outer ones.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the Saturn aspects, if you just go through all of what Saturn is like,
okay,
it's gonna help you a lot, I think, interpret your chart.
Interesting.
Yeah, that definitely helped me understand myself as a mercurial. And listen, Saturn moves slowly. Like pace is very important to you.
Yeah, I do definitely move at a slower rate, I feel
like incremental improvements and like kind of self-assessing all the time.
Your Saturn being in Aries is interesting to me though, specifically. Like Aries is like kind of the opposite of what Saturn is about. It's very impulsive and like, we all know Aries and how they just like make decisions and they're like, I'm gonna do this because I want to. It's a little bit more selfish, but I think it's interesting that your Saturn is in Aries ultimately, and like and that's what rules you. Like, so I think while you are a service oriented person and like I use that word like you want to help others you're like wanting to help others is something that is important to you, like at the same time you do kind of in the grand scheme of your life have to think about your needs. Oh, I remember what I was going to say earlier. I was going to say that I think it's so interesting how you are so focused on like big pictures and big themes in your life.
Yes.
With the Saturn being your chart ruler, like of course you are. But like at the same time, you have these placements that are very good at minutia and focusing
minutia
in
and Virgo.
exactly.
Yes.
Like you have these placements that are so good at focusing in.
Yeah.
So like there's also finding a balance in noting the big picture of your life, like, oh, I've kind of gone through these phases, I'm in this new era of my life, what is it about, how do I think about this, what do I need to do right now, and then like
always what do I need to do right now,
and then also like I don't know, it's almost like sometimes, and this is like you've been talking about something you're learning, but like you have to learn to focus in and like do that inward search like you've been doing about what do I need right now, how do I help myself to continue to help others, how do I like to serve this greater picture that I have for my life, what do I need to do in my day-to-day, in the focusing in this season of my life, how do I like I don't know, it's so interesting, this like kind of funnel that you have in your chart from big picture to every tiny detail.
Yeah, it's like a logistics game plan of sorts.
But then you can also get bogged down in those details.
Yeah, I can get a little stuck where it's like I can't commit to a big picture idea because I haven't figured out all the minutia yet. Yeah. And until all of that is figured out, the big picture can't exist because it's not all figured out.
Again, so the opposite of the Aries Saturn, which because Aries is like, fuck it, I'll figure out the details later. And you're like, I need them now.
Yeah.
That's so
Aries
interesting.
is not someone who's quality over quantity.
No.
Not saying that Aries does like a shoddy job, but it's kind of like, oh, I tried that and it didn't work. It's fine. Whereas like for you, it's like, well, that didn't work. so I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Yep.
You
I
know?
think maybe what it is that I just hold on to things for a really long time.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
then once I've finally gotten to the point where the big picture is there and the minutia is mostly figured out,
Mhm.
it's like an explosion and like all of a sudden it's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a very different it's just like your manifestation like style. I
Yeah.
think.
Mm-hmm.
Very
We
interesting.
wait for a long time.
Yes. We plan it
Yeah.
out
Yes.
and then once everything is kind of like in place, it's like boom, it's there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Oh,
definitely like
I love
just
it.
you just got to work with that more. Lean into it and not get too frustrated by like I don't know, things not happening fast enough or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. I'm sure you've already experienced that where like you know you need to take time for things to
Mm-hmm.
move.
Well,
Mhm.
the thing is that like I rarely, sometimes I feel like I'm the one that's frustrated with myself for not moving fast enough, but I
Mm,
most of the time feel like that's external pressure.
mm,
Yes. Yeah.
definitely.
I get that from, I mean, no shade to my partner, but I get it from my partner who's very spontaneous.
Right.
Um,
Mm.
like Catherine has so much Leo
And
Mhm. The
going
Sagittarius,
Leo
it's
and
on.
Sag.
Sagittarius, yeah,
Yeah,
Sagittarius moon for
yeah.
sure.
And then
Yeah.
my mom, who is also a Sagittarius.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. That's instant gratification, much like Aries is. So I think that's also maybe why this is a theme that you struggle with in your life,
Yeah,
the
if the people
external
around
instant
you are different.
gratification, and
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah,
like
yeah.
pushing you to do that too.
Be a
right. And
little
I'm
like
like,
adventurous.
yeah, but
Mhm.
I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, I can't do that. Why are
Yep.
you trying to force me?
Right.
Yes. It's so funny.
But I mean, at
The
some point, I have to just give in. You know, I have to let spontaneous things happen
Mm.
right.
and not always
It's
be pushing back.
it's a difficult exercise for Virgo placements, especially strong
Mm-hmm.
ones like your
Mm-hmm.
Mercury and like this being so much of your chart. Like that's a very difficult exercise to let other people's spontaneity move you because while like Taurus are known as this really stubborn, earth sign, like and Virgos are quote unquote mutable, it's still like we still like to do things in our own time in with our routines that we've
Planned out.
set,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
planned out, like right, like it's still hard to let go of that and let someone else's spontaneity move you
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like it can be really difficult, but
Mm.
Yeah.
I agree with Sam that exploring your Saturn in Aries might like open up a different way to think about your life
Mm.
Hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. That's such like an at odds placement between Aries and
Mm.
Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it might explain a lot, but
Yeah, it
Yeah,
also
it
might
might help a
explain a
lot.
lot.
it might explain
Usually,
a lot.
and you know, I know I've mentioned this before, but like my family friend, aka uncle,
Hmm.
who is an astrologer, in Sri Lankan astrology and South Asian astrology, we look at the most kind of at odds placements,
Mm.
and that's like what you're meant to focus on. Like that's what you
Hmm.
get advice about
That makes
from
sense.
astrologers. Like we
Hmm.
can talk about all of these outward placements and it's good for like sort of relationships with people or maybe how you
Hmm.
come off if you want to like know how impressionable you are, like the impression you give off. But these like deeper placements like Saturn are things that people won't normally see. It's very
Right.
internal.
Right.
Um and yeah, that's why they give like kind of advice based on those things. Very deep
That's
into
interesting.
your
Yeah.
chart. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I would definitely look into that. A lot of your placements are also in retrograde too. Like those bigger
Hmm.
planets were in retrograde when you were born.
Mm.
Which may also I think that also says a lot about why you think about big themes in
Right.
Yes.
your life for sure. Because maybe those are things that are more of an obstacle for you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think you're very satisfied when you overcome an obstacle as
Right.
well. Like though that's
Yes.
kind of something that pushes you forward as well.
Hmm.
Ooh, side note, I've been
Hmm.
thinking about getting a spider tattoo.
Okay.
Speaking of overcoming things,
Yeah.
in the past year, I've like totally overcome my fear of spiders.
I love that for you.
Whoa.
Congratulations.
Simply
That's
just by
huge.
learning about them.
Yes.
Did you know that if you educate yourself, the things you're scared of are less scary?
I don't know if this works for everyone.
That's
No,
a very
it doesn't work for everyone.
Mercury
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Big mercurial thing.
That's like a very slow desensitizing process.
Honestly,
right?
it was very quick for me.
That's good.
I was like, oh, it's not poisonous, and I can tell which ones are poisonous and which ones to be scared of, and most of them are not scary.
Yep.
And like instantly, I was like, okay, then I can get over it. Looking kind of creepy.
Isn't that
Yeah.
wild? I'm not afraid of spiders. I'm definitely startled by some of them
I love
because
you
like
like spiders.
I mean,
Oh.
I like spiders as creatures. I think like if they move too fast, it freaks me out because I'm just like a jumpy person like that.
Yeah,
I've like
otherwise-
fully flipped a
it's fine.
switch, and now like I'm the coworker who brings spiders over to other coworkers to show them.
That's wild. Avi.
I'm like, ooh, a spooter. Let's save
Yeah.
this box.
Yeah, I'm definitely someone like there was a spider in my room for a while, and I kind of just let them hang out.
Sure.
'Cause,
Oh yeah,
like,
if there's spiders in my plants, I'm very careful not to disturb their webs.
right,
way.
exactly.
Because I mean, they get rid of the bugs I don't want in there.
Exactly.
Spiders
But
are good pests.
unfortunately, one time I was like in bed and I felt something on my back. I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, wait. So maybe trigger warning for people who are scared of spiders.
So sorry.
Yeah, trigger warning if you don't like spiders. But yeah, like I it's very hot here, so sometimes I just like I get to my room, I take off all my clothes and lay down.
Sure.
Yep.
I also
just to
do
cool
that.
down, just to cool
It's gotta be
down and like
done.
relax for a sec. And I felt something on my back, and I was kind of like moving it, and then I felt it again, and I was like, "Oh, it's a thing." So I
Mhm.
got up, and the spider's just crawling around my bed. So I'm like,
What?
"Oh, I'm sorry, you have to go now.
You have
I'm
to go."
so sorry."
You silly
This is the
guy, you
end.
can't be in there.
Yeah, like we had an agreement.
Yeah.
I thought you were hanging out at
We
the
were
window
chill.
seal.
We were chill.
Yeah, like I saw you every day, like in the same
Yeah.
spot on the wall,
What
and
the
like
hell?
go back to
What
the
happened?
window. Like, why are you in my bed?
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, I'm
that
sorry, but that's
happened.
kind of overstepping some boundaries.
I agree. It's too much.
But yeah, so I'm like fine with spiders, but that I was kind of like, well,
There are boundaries, and that's okay.
yeah. But I often associate Virgo with spiders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Cuz it's very like meticulous, and like I make my little web
Mm.
here. I catch what I need and then I go away.
Then I go.
Yeah, then I don't know, like I don't know. They give me a Virgo vibe.
I like that.
I like thinking of alternate little metaphors and creatures for the signs too.
You're good at it too. It's fun to hear what you come up
Oh my
with.
gosh.
Do you have an alternate creature for Leo?
For Leo? I'm not sure. Cat
mean,
is pretty good.
Lion
for
works
Leo.
so well.
It
Yeah,
really does.
yeah, most cats,
Most
I would
cats,
say.
yeah.
And you understand cats very well,
I do.
I think.
I have a very
Like-
close connection to them.
Yeah, and that
Which is funny because I grew up hating cats.
Really?
I
Yeah.
love that.
You're just overcoming all of your dislikes for different animals. What's
Seriously.
next?
What's next?
Yeah.
Are there any animals I don't like? I don't know if there are. Because, like, you know
None
how
that
a
you
lot of
think of?
people are freaked out by goats?
Yes, I
Really?
do understand that.
Yeah,
I think
because
it's
of
the eyes.
they're scared of the square eyes. Yeah.
Yeah, the square pupils.
I never really
I-
even noticed that
I have
until people talked about it.
I have a deep
Yeah.
connection with all goats.
I like a little goat. Oh, Capricorn.
Yeah.
Big
We
Capricorn
just
Wow,
get each
spider,
other.
goat, cat, spider, moon, cat, sun, goat rising.
That's right. Goat rising,
Wow.
baby.
Wow.
I love it. That's so funny.
I like goats.
I love goats.
Jordan,
are you
They're
scared of
so
goats?
cute.
No, I like goats.
Okay.
I think they're annoying, honestly, if I'm being like
Annoying.
Okay,
fully
I know
honest.
you
I think
don't.
they're annoying,
I
but I,
know
like
you
goats.
don't like birds.
I don't like birds.
Do you dislike chickens?
Yeah, I hate chickens. Sorry. We're doomed.
Guess you're just never living on my commune.
Oh, you know,
I
an
guess
alternate
not.
Leo. Now that you say that, an alternate Leo animal, maybe a parrot.
Parrot is a good one, I think.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I
Or
don't
like
like.
a
I don't
maybe
know
a
how I feel about
cockatoo.
that. Okay.
You don't like that?
I don't know. I just don't.
I just love how we had the most deep conversations,
And now we're
talking
like,
about
what
parrots.
animal?
Are you not into parrots? I just feel like they're very like colorful. They're
I was
very
gonna say,
intelligent.
parrots
But
are too
like,
flashy for me.
But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
very Leo. Come on now.
Mm.
Come on
Are
now.
you in denial?
I'm more of like a peregrine falcon.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's the most Leo thing you've ever said.
I'm sorry, what? Wow.
Everything up to this point.
I'm just blown away from the wings of that falcon.
Great.
Wow. Oh man.
So funny. God.
What?
Wait.
Here's what I'll say about parrots being Leos. Okay. I think
let's
like,
keep talking about parrots.
I think they're like very flashy and we're very entertained by how they can talk like us, right?
Mm.
But we
Oh,
often
gosh.
dismiss like how observant and intelligent they are because they
Mhm.
just seem like, oh, kooky little entertainers for us. Oh, they're
Yeah.
bobbing their heads to the music.
I think people underestimate Leos.
Are you trying to make me feel better about this?
Sure. Is it working?
Honestly, no.
But like parrots are super intelligent. I've been seeing a lot of stuff online about like how we don't even really still understand how intelligent birds are.
This is
And,
why I
like,
don't fuck with birds.
Yeah. Jordan has some dinosaur trauma in her past life, apparently.
Ooh, okay. If you say that a Leo could be a dinosaur, then I might
Well,
be
yes,
on board.
birds are dinosaurs.
There's
Right.
a link.
So we gotta reframe it, you know?
I love how you're like, there's a link.
I see it.
Yeah. Oh, so you're fine with dinosaurs?
That's
Yeah.
Why?
so funny.
They're
Wait,
cooler.
Why? Oh, okay, that's okay. Oh my god, that's hilarious. Oh.
Oh man, I love when you show your Leo-ness.
Yeah, I'm a
These are like my
peregrine
favorite
falcon.
moments with you. It's so funny because you were truly so like cool-headed, low-key, almost all the time, and then you have these moments of like, actually, that's not cool enough for me.
It's
Parrots,
not.
forget parrots. I'm a peregrine falcon, bitch. That's funny. So funny.
Gosh.
Oh god.
Oh man, that was
So
funny.
It makes you extra enjoyable to be around because we can have these like really, super deep conversations, emotionally intelligent. Just I'm learning things about myself, like big
Yeah,
realize energy. You know what I mean?
But you
Like,
throw a parrot in the
Real
mix.
eyes.
realize. And then you're like, fuck that. I need to be the best, the fastest. I'm the best. Kylie Jenner is also a Leo. I will just
Oh
say
my
that.
god, why would you even say that?
Oh my
to
god.
my face?
I just needed to point it out that like realize is like the simultaneously the dumbest shit she's ever said, and also the most profound thing I've ever heard
Yeah,
from her mouth.
agreed.
So like,
Wow.
she's underestimated. I'm not saying we should all stand Kylie Jenner. I'm just saying she's not.
Oh man.
Classic parrot.
Classic parrot.
See, she thought she was saying a real word, but actually just following the noises.
Oh.
But it turned out.
But it turned out it was a deep statement.
Oh, that's also a big thing. I have my Mars is in
crying.
Leo.
This conversation is so funny. Sorry.
I think a big thing about Leos that you may relate to is like sometimes my 40% was better than everyone else's, and they're quite impressed.
Yeah.
And so
They're
like
giving 80-90%. I'm giving 42. And I outperformed you in every way.
did better to
Oh
everyone
my
else.
god.
And so sometimes it
Oh
might
yeah, I
be-
like barely studied,
yeah.
but like
Me
I
with my
turned
Leo
in,
moon.
I turned in my test first, and like I got a 96. So
Wow, I'm triggered.
Me.
But like I think people think that I'm that way because I'll also prepare stuff quite last minute, but
Uh-huh.
I will hyper focus so it's the
Right.
best.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hyperfocus is a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you get older and you just learn about all of the mental illness you have
yes.
and all the like neurodivergence you have?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, there's no way I could be ADHD. I sit and
Oh.
draw for like 6 hours straight. What do you mean?
And then you're like, oh, that's part of it.
And I was like, oh, there's different
And
types.
in that whole 6 hours, I forgot to eat
Right.
or drink water
I was drinking coffee.
or unbend my shrimp back. So
My shrimp back. Should call them
Oh.
shrimp back whales.
Jesus Christ.
Jokes. Wow.
Oh,
But yeah,
God.
that's so true. I keep realizing stuff and I'm like, am I being too influenced by TikTok or am I really diagnosed with all these things?
Right.
I'm struggling with that.
It's so
But yeah,
good.
that's like a big thing for Leos is like
Mhm.
the charm and the charisma, or Riz as the children are saying.
No, no.
Yikes.
They are saying that.
I
are
know,
saying
but I
it.
hate it.
So I'll keep saying it Riz. It kind of makes us like get the trophy all the time. And then we're
Mm.
like, I don't even have to work that hard.
Yep.
Yeah. So that can also be a thing. It's kind of like, well, if my 40% is good enough for everyone else, then I don't really need to do the 100% for me.
Mm.
But then all your Virgo placements are like, actually, you have to give 100%, or they'll know that you're not giving 100%,
Absolutely.
even though they would never know that you're not giving 100%.
Well, what
Right.
sucks is that like I like to make a good first impression, so I give 100% at first,
Mhm.
and then I don't know, I kind of want to like give 40% sometimes, but it's like,
Mhm.
well, now they know what 100% looks like, so I'm
Mhm.
screwed.
Yes. True. That is
Ugh,
so Virgo.
the
My
worst.
roommate's a Virgo, and she was like, I wasn't on my A game, and I was like, what did you do? And she was like, she was just talking about clinical assessments that aren't even a big deal. And she's like,
Mhm.
usually I'm so on top of it, and I feel like everyone's gonna notice that I wasn't. And I'm like, probably no one cares.
not,
Actually, are you
everyone's
good?
too focused on their own shit. No
People
one
are so
Yes.
wrapped up in their own lives.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, and
We underestimate that.
I'm still learning that as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean,
Honestly,
I'm convinced everyone's obsessed with me.
I try to use the like everyone's wrapped up in their own lives as like a comfort, you know?
Yeah.
Like when I go to Target at like noon and I'm still wearing my pajamas,
Yeah.
nobody cares.
No.
Right.
Like, I don't know. That's like a very low level example.
No,
It's
but
an easy example. I
Yeah.
want all of us understand because we've
No,
all been to
it's-
Target in our
it's
pajamas.
so true. Yeah, it's very true.
Like, I haven't showered in a couple days. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if you looked
Oof.
closely, you could tell. But like, no one's looking closely.
Right.
And if they
Yeah.
do, they're not going to remember you 2 hours later.
Exactly.
Yeah. I also have trouble being rough here. Like in college, it was all good to be a little rough.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, like look rough?
Yeah, like look rough or like not be dressed up. And like it's not like I dress up, but I feel like I'm a little more
But don't you get to wear
self-conscious.
scrubs all the time?
Not every day.
Okay.
Thank God. It would be way too hot to do that every day.
Just for
and
like clinicals?
yeah, like for clinical things or for cadaver lab or labs
Uh-huh.
and stuff. Like, and sometimes I'll wear them in the morning and change.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'll wear them all day. It really depends. But yeah, like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I need to be a little more put together,
Mm.
and like I don't know why I care that much,
Who knows?
other than professional settings. Like I'm
Yeah, are
talking
other
about.
people put together?
I guess. Maybe.
See, you don't even know.
Yeah, Yeah, like
So
the
nobody
thing
knows
is-
about you either.
Yeah, like the thing is, if I see someone who's not put together, I'm not judging that at all.
Right.
Because I'm like, yeah, we're all sleep deprived,
Of
and
course.
like it doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't know. It's very weird to me that I'm much more self conscious than I used to be in a school setting. Yeah, I don't know. But
I always kind of liked dressing for class. There was something
Right.
about that where it was like, I don't have to get dressed up, but it is like an opportunity to, maybe this is going to sound
Mhm.
really Leo, but it's an opportunity to like be in front of people and like,
I know, yeah.
like,
Mhm.
I don't know, just like show myself and whatever I have to give that day.
Yeah. It is
So
nice to get some compliments on your outfit.
sure.
Do you ever put on like a, very deliberately put together an outfit and then people don't compliment you all day and you're like, I'm sick with grief. Like, why did no one say anything about my outfit?
Clearly
Yes.
nobody cares.
Like, no one complimented my glasses, no one complimented my hair.
Honestly, ever since
Oh my God.
transitioning, like I don't expect people to comment on my physical appearance anymore.
Wow,
It's-
what's that like?
It's wild.
Well, because I've been hearing a lot about that too. People joke that like men never get compliments from
No.
women.
Well,
And-
I mean, like, rarely do people comment on men's appearances at all. Period.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
as opposed to women or femme people,
Right.
who literally everything is open for
scrutinized.
comment. Like,
Yes.
I used to, if I got a haircut, it was commented on, like, no matter
Right.
what, like, always, even if it
Right.
was just a little trim or like,
It's like noticeable enough.
yeah, like people would always comment on it. But now if I get haircuts, nobody ever mentions it, ever.
That's wild to me. I think I notice it on guys way more if they get a haircut or like
Well, yeah, it
shave or
tends to go like
something.
down to the skin. It's more noticeable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think I always, now I'm starting to understand, now that I'm reading that people are saying this, like, oh, men don't get comments as much. Because I give compliments quite freely.
Sure.
And I'm understanding now why guys are usually a little surprised
Right.
by that.
I try to like compliment like male
Non-discriminately.
coworkers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just as much as I would compliment anyone.
Right.
But like also I don't know, I also try to keep like physical comments to a minimum.
Mhm.
I don't know. It oftentimes, like, what if you're complimenting somebody's least favorite pair of pants,
Yeah, like what if they really put no thought into it and now they're like, oh, is everyone looking at me?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
So I rarely expect people to mention what I'm wearing.
Right.
It tends to be a bit of a surprise when they do.
Right, yeah. And that's interesting to me.
Yeah, very different from past experiences.
Right. Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to say about your chart, just briefly, is that I was looking at your Pluto in Sagittarius, and I was like, mine is in Scorpio. Like, what's that about? But like, what's the difference? But yours is like, in general, because Pluto is a very slow moving, again, another like overarching life theme kind of planet. It's like you have really big aspirations for yourself, whether or not you know what those are. Like, you, as like we've been talking about this whole time, like you just want to do your best for people that you care about and for like people in general, always. And then it also says that like sexuality and love are idealized, which I think are things that, like, obviously your relationships are important to you, but it's just like, I find that so interesting that like I don't know, the way your relationships are and like the things that maybe you struggle with in your relationships, like communicating what you need, like you have these more idealized notions of what your relationships could be, should be, would be, but it's hard to execute it and like actually have this these things that you really, really want, although you
Mhm.
have great partners who like really care about you and do what they can for you as much
Yeah.
as they can, and you appreciate each other, you know, like, but those are important things in your life in general, which is
Mhm.
so interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like we're given really weird expectations
Mm-hmm.
by like media and society as to
Mhm.
Yes.
what relationships are supposed to look like, and like what you're like how you're supposed to feel in a relationship.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I've spent a lot of my life in relationships, like unlearning those things, especially through like non-monogamy and just kind of like dropping the notion of like, oh, this one person has to provide me with everything that I'm looking for
Mhm.
from a
Yes.
relationship,
Mm-hmm.
from like a romantic intimate relationship.
Right.
um, and I think like expanding that expectation to be
Mm-hmm.
like, actually these are just things that I want and that I can seek
Mhm.
out for myself,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't totally matter who's providing them, as long as like I'm finding it in a healthy, respectful way,
Mhm.
if that
Mhm.
Right.
makes sense.
Yes.
Definitely. Yeah, your Pluto placement does have Pluto is kind of like about transformation,
Mm-hmm.
almost like a
Mm,
generational progressive transformation. And that
Yes.
being in Sagittarius, which is kind of very philosophical and a bit like beyond the current times, if you
Mm-hmm.
will.
mm,
So it makes sense that and also I will say your Uranus in Aquarius, which is
Mm-hmm.
also a very strong place. If we did your planet dominance, which we haven't done, I'm sure that would also be one of your stronger placements, and
right.
that's all about being like letting go of conventions.
Yeah, let's
Yes.
challenge the status quo.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think those are huge parts of why you've already like examined that
Mm-hmm.
in like probably much earlier than most people would in their lives. Like you're still in
Mm-hmm.
your 20s. And so most people don't really realize those conventions and like let go of those things until much later in their life.
Right.
Yes.
Um so yeah,
Or
I think
never.
or
Or
never.
never.
Definitely. Yeah. Lots of normies around, okay? I want to just say
Yep.
that.
Lots of normies. And I was just like scrolling through this document and right, I found like between your with your Neptune and your rising being in the same sign, that conjunction,
Uh-huh.
the literally the line that they write about this is can have unusual relationships, easily influenced, very sensitive and emotional. It's like,
Hey,
damn.
hey, watch
Hey
it.
now.
I am not sensitive. I've never experienced emotion. I'm offended.
So funny. Like, damn. The
Yeah,
call out.
I'm definitely like way more sensitive than I make myself out to be.
Mm.
A
Um,
lot of Virgos do
Elaborate.
that.
elaborate. Fuck off.
Oh my
um,
god.
I think I'm very sensitive, but I insist on examining those sensitivities
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
and like
Mm.
taking a second to be like, am I just like reacting strongly, or is this actually like a reasonable feeling?
Yeah,
mm.
that filtering, like, I don't know, does it not get exhausting?
Of course.
Me as my Pisces, like, let me
But
just
I'm
react how I
also
want.
like I'm like thinking about what I want from other people, and
Right.
like I don't really want people to bring me all of their like issues that they were sensitive about,
Mm,
because
true.
like that's often a you problem, you know.
Yes.
Like, and I have to like think about that with myself too, like, is this a me problem? It probably is just a me problem.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like I can acknowledge that I'm feeling a certain way, and I can even tell someone I'm feeling a certain way, but I try to be really careful about whether or not I make that their problem.
Mhm.
Fair. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Like, am I given the proper space to really just do this without affecting someone else, I
Yeah,
guess?
like what do I
Mhm.
want? What do I need here?
Yeah.
And can I provide it myself?
Mm.
Or can I
Wow,
just ask for
actually,
something simple that will make it work?
actually figuring out like why you're feeling a certain way, shocking.
Yeah. I
Again, a little journaling goes a long way.
like, can you make like a master class or something like I could watch?
It's so interesting. This is something that truly a lot of people in my life struggle with, like discovering the root of their problem,
Mhm.
particularly men in my life, because they've
Mhm.
never
Oh.
been asked to do so. They
Right.
just get what they
Oh.
want, right?
Right.
So it's
Oh.
so interesting to hear you talk about it. And because, like, I'm the same way, you know, like,
Yeah.
I would like to think about, like, again, but I have whereas my moon is, I have a Leo moon. I cannot speak. I'm like failing, flagging. I have a Leo moon, so I definitely react a bit more gut instinctly, which is why I get really mean if you piss me off.
Mhm.
As
You? Me?
and I'm quick to anger, but not quick to like be any other emotion. Like,
Mhm.
you're unlikely to get me to feel sad or like show you that I'm sad. I'll just turn that into like anger or frustration
Right.
instead to
Oh,
fuel me.
dear.
And I mean,
But like,
they're reciprocal emotions.
yes,
Yeah.
Like
they
anger and
do.
sadness kind of go like they work in cycle with each other.
They do.
Mhm.
They work in tandem, but often I ignore the actual sad part, right? Like, which is my problem.
Right.
But what I do as an adult who is extremely self-aware is that I know that I do that, and I think about like, why do I go to anger first?
Mhm.
What
What's
is
making
the
me
root of
angry?
this? Yeah. Am I actually angry, or am I hurt?
Mhm.
And I've
Mm.
translated that into anger
Totally.
instead of like sitting with the hurt or explaining that this actually like hurts my feelings,
Mhm.
That's why it's good to
you
have a
know?
venting friend.
Oh, yes.
I love to be really angry about something, and then when
Mhm.
you're finally done venting about it, you just get really sad. And
Ah,
you're like,
Wait,
yes.
really?
"Oh, yeah, I experience emotions."
Oh,
Huh.
God. I'm
Well,
usually more angry.
I'm quick. Yeah, like that's interesting because I'm very quick to sadness.
Uh-huh.
Actually,
Hmm.
I think
Pisces ass.
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
That's how
I
Catherine is too.
yeah,
Quick
like
to
I think
sad.
I
The
will really
Pisces.
sit in
Mhm.
the sadness for a while. Like I said, sometimes it's a
Mhm.
vibe. Like sometimes you just gotta be sad. Do you
See,
guys not agree?
I just love to be angry.
I think I agree
I really
in
don't like to be
theory.
angry. I feel so I get very like worn out if I'm
Yeah.
angry for a long
Uh-huh.
time. I think I'm quick to anger but quick to get over things too. And
I think
instead I
I'm
will just feel like that disappointment and like kind of sadness afterward.
I
That's
tend to
interesting.
I tend to feel a lot of frustration, which is an
Yeah.
interesting mixture of sadness and
Mhm.
anger.
Right.
Yes.
And what makes it even more frustrating is that now that I'm like pass as like male,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
people just think I'm angry about stuff and like
Ah.
Yeah.
think that I look angry or like that I need to calm
Right.
down.
Mm.
And that makes me so much more angry.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
and
That will
I'm
set me off in a second.
and like I have so much like righteous anger, you know?
Right.
And
Mhm.
I'm like, no, you don't understand. I deserve to be angry right now.
It's interesting you say that. I feel like women of color go through the same thing.
Yes.
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 I'm just
Yes.
like
Yes.
yes. Like I feel like it's kind of like, I'm controlling my anger right now, but you
Mhm.
mentioning that I look angry or like
Right.
saying I need to calm down or like why do I have an attitude? I want to crush something right now in my
Triggered.
hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
you know what I mean? Like,
I
oh
think
man.
there's probably a bit
Yeah.
of a I mean, maybe not, but just like people reacting like they're scared of you is
Yes.
Uh-huh.
very difficult to deal with when you're
Yes.
like vulnerable and experiencing emotion.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yes.
And it's like, oh, I guess I have to shut down my own feelings to make you feel
Right.
comfortable.
Right, right,
Ha,
right.
ha, 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 ha. Imagine that.
Yeah.
It's
I
weird to
never
deal with
really
as like a man because it's like,
Yes.
well, but there is precedence here.
Exactly.
mean,
Right.
yes.
Right.
And I do have the responsibility of making other people not triggered, you know?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's
It's
tough.
tricky.
It's a
I hadn't
fine line
made
to
that
walk.
connection before, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh.
And it's weird because I used to be very supported in my righteous anger. Like, that used to be a
Mm.
feeling I was allowed to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Because, like, when people read me as a woman,
Right.
it wasn't scary. And it wasn't
Uh-huh.
threatening.
Right.
Or at least
right,
when they
right.
read me as a white woman.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. If anything, it's almost like, how do we support you? How do we appease that?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's so wild.
Whoa.
Whoa.
What a concept.
I know.
That's an interesting switch up to deal with in one lifetime. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Right.
and not a,
Although
you're very
And-
young, not a
Oh,
particularly
yeah.
long one.
And just a
Like,
portion of my lifetime.
right.
Right. But I wonder, like, if white woman rage, I feel like I don't know if it's being perceived differently nowadays. Like, with the whole, like, I mean, I don't like lumping everything together as, like, Karen behavior, because Karen behavior comes from something very specific.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just think, like, because it's become so generalized,
Mhm.
now people see white women getting angry as something very different now.
Mm.
As, like, oh, now you're being unreasonable or whatever
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Which has,
that's
I
an
think
interesting thing to think about.
that's definitely existed.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
Like you
Like
said, there's
hysteria.
precedence. Yes. There's precedence for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's so interesting to think about. And, like, why do we have to worry so much about how people are going to perceive our expression
Right.
of emotions? It's exhausting.
Again, people
Yeah.
just need to, like, stay in their own lane
And
and
shut up.
shut up.
Oh,
The theme.
it's
The
so
theme.
difficult.
Honestly, truly, even outside of Taurus season, if more people stayed in their
Stop
own
talking.
lane and stopped talking, we would have fewer problems. They wouldn't be
Yeah.
gone, but we'd have fewer problems.
We'd probably be happier in general.
In
Mm,
general, I think so.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Alas, we're here trying to figure this thing out. I don't know.
In short, you should be like the secretary of the revolution. That's what I'm saying right now.
Oh, Avi should? Yeah, I agree. The secretary.
The
is
secretary.
hilarious.
Good at the details. Administrative
Yes.
assistant. Sorry, I used the wrong word.
Wow.
I apologize.
My pay grade just went up like 5K a year.
Executive assistant of the revolution.
To the
Executive
revolution.
assistant. Yeah.
All the right ideas, and you're ready to set the plans in motion. Like, there's someone else who's like,
Like the
the
figurehead.
face.
Yeah,
the
Who's
face.
The figurehead.
but they can't do any of the details. You're
Yeah.
essential, absolutely essential
You're
to
like
making this
in
actually work.
You're in their Bluetooth headset.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, you are
I
the
don't know, y'all. This is
speechwriter.
getting stressful.
The-
I'm having some second thoughts about the revolution.
You're like, okay, no, the revolution's happening. You're running around with the clipboard checklist, or perhaps an iPad. Honestly,
Mhm.
like, I think that's where.
How about actually the planning was so well done that I don't need to run around. Everything's just going the way that it was supposed to go.
The thing is, you would like to think that, but other humans were involved, so
Ew.
you still have to be there.
So you're running around backstage.
You're running around.
With a fucking Bluetooth headset. The revolution has Bluetooth headsets, y'all.
You have
Yes.
3 phones, okay?
One of them is a BlackBerry.
One of them is a BlackBerry.
Because also the apocalypse has happened,
Yes.
and we've
Oh,
regressed.
true. So we've reverted back to Blackberries. That's what's
Aren't Blackberries back or something?
They're Blackberries.
Blackberry.
I remember thinking Blackberries were so cool.
Oh, same.
Yeah, they used to be.
Same.
And there was like the one
like-
touchscreen
I was like, dude,
Blackberry.
I
Yeah.
want that tiny keyboard.
Yes.
I
Oh my
need
God,
a tiny
yes.
keyboard.
I need that little roller ball scrolling around.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh, wow, what a time.
That's so funny.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. Well, we all have to figure out our own roles in the revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know that Avi is like the manager
Mm-hmm.
almost.
The one keeping everybody.
You're the
where they're
momager of
supposed
the
to be.
revolution.
Oh my god.
I applied
The
to be
dadager.
I applied to just like be a farmer, but somehow I ended up here.
Oh my god. Here's the thing. You were maybe supposed to just be a farmer, but they saw the potential
Oh,
for your
God.
for you to do the best job at this specific thing where
Wow.
you are like
Mm.
the face that everyone comes to.
This
You meet with
is-
people before
Ugh.
the figurehead meets with people, okay? Like that's
This
where you
is
sit.
cinema.
I never
This is
asked for
cinema.
this.
You don't ask you for your role in the revolution. You're assigned. Okay.
What the fuck is this conversation?
And roles in the revolution are going to be assigned.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
Wow.
This should be the precedent for every interview episode or like guest episode we have.
Like,
We
What's your
assign
role in the
everyone.
in the revolution?
Yeah, we assign where you would be in the revolution.
Surf.
Oh
Peasant.
no, surf! Jesus, medieval caste system.
This is gonna be the best revolution ever.
Oh my
no.
god. Oh, that's so funny. Wow. Okay, Sam, did you have anything else that we wanted to add?
I think we've covered everything. We've gone through a lot in your chart. Do you think you know a little more about your chart now, or was this all just
No, I
rubbish?
do. This was good. I
Are
feel
you
like
sure?
we-
You can tell us that it's rubbish if it was.
Tell us it was bad. We don't have to air this.
Oh,
Yeah, we
oh,
can
I can be
delete it.
honest.
You can be
Oh
honest.
yeah, you can be honest. Be honest.
No, it was good. I feel like
Oh,
the
God.
Saturn stuff I'm gonna look into.
Oh yes,
Um,
yes. Now you know you're a Saturn boy. You're a
I'm a
Saturnian.
I'm a Saturnian
Saturn
boy.
boy.
Yes.
Saturn boy. That sounds like my role in the Sailor Moon
Yes.
universe.
Correct.
Isn't there a song called is it Saturn Girl? Is that what that song is?
Yeah,
called?
by Amine.
Yeah. Oh, damn. I was like,
That's
what
a good
is that
song.
s- I was like, why is that ringing bells? Ratchet Saturn Girl. Ratchet Saturn Girl. Incredible song. You won't like it, Avi. Don't worry about it.
Oh
You won't like it.
You
yeah.
That's okay. It can be a good song, even if I don't like it.
Yeah. It's true. It is a good song. I just know you won't like. It's not for you.
Not
and
my
that's okay. No. Oh,
Oh, I
That's
can't
so
breathe.
funny.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, I feel like we covered a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like my brain has been wrenched open and laid out for everybody to look
Oops.
Mhm.
Sorry.
at. Now my head hurts just a little bit, but that's
Oh, it's
good.
okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens when you
Yeah.
haven't laughed really hard also. you know?
That's true. That's true. I think maybe I'm a little oxygen deprived.
Yeah.
Dehydrated,
Need a
oxygen
CPAP machine.
deprived.
Feeling a little high, honestly.
Yeah. Oh well, I wonder why that is.
I don't know. There's no reason for that.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was
Alright.
super fun though.
This was great. Thanks for letting us pick apart your chart and talk to you about
And
your
the brain.
life.
Thank you for
And your
inviting
brain.
me.
Of course.
Do you have any first before
Yes.
we actually like get to the like thanks for being here?
Uh-huh.
Was that
Do
supposed
you-
to be me? Hold on.
No.
Hold on.
It
No.
sounded like Sam.
Yeah. Was that?
wasn't.
I think
It
that was.
wasn't. It was
That sounded like my outro.
Avi's an
Do you-
instigator. No.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear my Sam impression?
Yes.
Please. Oh, that was really good.
I love you, Sam.
That was good.
I wasn't expecting that. Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, what were you saying? What
Yeah, what were you saying, Jordan?
God. Okay, before we get to the end here, what things have you been enjoying other than Love is Blind? Like any
Oh.
media or activities, anything that's been bringing you a little bit of joy lately?
Okay. Let's see. Well, I've been going through One Piece.
Oh.
I
Oh
started
wow.
watching
Mhm.
One Piece from the ground up like 2 months
Wow.
ago.
Daunting.
Yeah.
I know. I really want to one day,
You
but
should.
I am a little bit daunted by the task.
It's really good. It's like
It's funny.
it's very funny and silly, pretty lighthearted, but like good story. And there are some
Mhm.
moments that are like pretty like intense. Like some of the
Mhm.
backstory is
Mhm.
like, damn.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy
What I
it.
always hear is like it has everything.
It
It has like
does,
all the
yeah.
emotions packed into one show.
And I'm like 350 episodes deep.
Wow.
There are over 1,000
There are
episodes
I
of
over
the
know.
show.
1,000,
I think
yeah.
that's why I keep putting it off. Like
It's a
has to-
huge task.
It's like a
Honestly-
lifetime commitment.
Yes.
I think I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I've seen enough of this show that I can be good, you know? So
Yeah.
Right.
I haven't been like as like voraciously devouring the
Right,
show
right,
as
right,
much
right.
as I used to like last month.
Mhm.
So I'm also watching I finished the newest season of Dimension 20 Never After, which is like a D&D show.
Yeah.
Um
A lot of people love D20. I've never gotten into it though.
It's super good. Also very silly, very lighthearted. The cast are all like comedians, so they're all very funny.
Oh, love that.
And so I finished the most recent season, and I went back and started watching Crown of Candy, which is a previous campaign they've done,
Mhm.
Oh,
because the next
that's cool.
season is going to be like a prequel to that one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so I have a whole D&D show to watch, which is like,
Aren't those like super long?
yeah, they're like
each like episode they do,
each
or-
episode is like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Wow. Yeah.
Movies. Wow.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
and
pretty
there's like
much.
20 episodes per season.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
it visual as well as audio, or is
Yeah.
it like a podcast?
Yeah, it looks like a
Oh.
podcast a bit, right? If I'm
So-
thinking of the right thing.
It's, yeah, you can listen to it as a podcast, but it is
Mhm.
filmed.
Oh.
And they have the seasons that I really like to watch are the ones that have like minifigs and like a whole like
Mhm.
setup for every battle. And it's just a lot of fun. Like you get to like watch them, you know, interacting with each other and like rolling the die, and it's all like very intense.
Okay, that is.
Oh.
I'm often like on the edge of my seat, like gasping about stuff, and
I love
Catherine's
that.
like, was it really that intense? And I'm like, yes. They rolled
was.
3d8s and got a 7, a 7, and an 8.
Kevin's like, this means nothing.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's so funny.
Oh man, that's funny.
I love it.
But yeah, I've been watching that on and off with Nico too, so that's been nice.
Yeah.
What else have I been doing? Gardening, taking care of my garden. I had a couple of volunteer tomatoes come up this year.
Ooh.
Cute.
So I didn't have to buy any tomatoes. They're just like seeded from the ones I grew last year, which is really
I love
sweet.
a tomato. Yes.
Same. So I pulled those out and put them in some gallon pots because they're getting shaded out by my kale.
Wow, you are a farmer. Wow.
I really am.
I love it.
I've got a lot going on. I've got a whole like Stardew Valley life happening.
Yes.
I wish.
I wish to. I still haven't figured out the mining. But yeah, I've been trying to draw more. I've been trying to get back into journaling and like doing at least like a page per day, but like it doesn't have to be writing. It can be drawing if I don't feel like writing, or it can be a mix of the two. And yeah,
I
those are
love
the main
that.
things.
It's nice.
That's so nice.
Oh, and I've been working out too much. I need to calm
Working
down.
out?
Yeah, like even though my job is very physically demanding, I've been
Uh-huh.
having like the urge to work out,
Uh-huh.
and like
Mhm.
on the weekends just like do like strengthening exercises. And then this past week I went on a run for the first time in a few weeks.
Mhm.
and it's like it's been really good and very like distracting and kind of like physically like rewarding,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also exhausted.
Yeah, when you try to do too much at once,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm probably doing a lot of physical activity to like distract from mental activity I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
doing.
Mm.
I don't know what it is yet. We'll figure it out down the way. I'll let you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, those are the things I've been doing.
That's good. That all
I'm
sounds
proud
very
of
healthy and
you.
nice.
I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah, you're doing the things.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
out
doing the
here.
things, you know, as long as I'm like doing things that are good for me, I feel like we'll be moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
It's the
It sounds
best
like
I
a
have
press
to
conference.
offer.
Yeah, it sounds like
Press conference.
That's pretty much how I act with myself. I'm like, you know what, you're doing okay, buddy. Um, we're all trying our hardest, and we're making moves in the right direction, and
Yeah.
as long as we just keep on this path,
And here are strategies for the next season.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
everybody's really giving it their all. So
Oh my god.
Oh my god. That's
I
wonderful.
love it.
how about
I'm
y'all?
happy. Oh.
Oh, I don't have a life.
Oh,
But
what's that?
yeah, I don't know
You
if
mean
I don't
plants?
yeah,
Never
like
heard of
I don't
her.
do anything but study these days,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But I do listen to some pods.
some pads.
Some
Mhm.
pods. I really love Miles Bonsignore's podcast. He's the producer for the Try Guys.
Okay,
And he does like this advice show. It's just like really funny. Like he's our age, he's from our state. So sometimes when he talks about his life experiences, I'm like, oh, I really relate to this random white guy. Like it's actually kind of nice, and he's really funny. Um, and I don't know, it's just interesting, like a very like low stimulation show of him just
I love
like
that.
people calling in with their problems, and he goes and gives them advice. He's a Virgo as well,
Nice.
so I feel like he also kind of really enjoys helping people out. And he's like quite thoughtful even though he's a little goofy. So yeah, I don't know, that's kind of all I've really been listening to. His podcast, the Try Guys, like they have multiple podcasts, and sometimes they're just fun to put on the background.
Yeah.
But
They are fun.
that's pretty much it for me. Last week I talked about Kunk on Earth, the Netflix
Yeah.
show, and I have
What
not.
is that?
It's like it
I
is.
keep seeing that. I'm like, what the fuck is
You keep
kunk?
seeing it? Okay, yeah. So
What's a kunk?
no.
Am I a
Kunk?
kunk?
No. No. So it's this British comedian, Diane Morgan, but she's playing a character. I'm like blanking on. It's like Philomena Kunk. It's
Okay.
her
Yeah, that's
last
what you
name.
said
It's
last
like,
week.
yeah, the character's last name is Kunk, and she's going through like world history, and kind of interviewing these like historians and stuff
Okay.
like that.
Mhm.
I mean, because this is what I was talking about last week, is that the British museums have just all of the stolen artifacts of the
Yep.
world, so you can go through the entire Earth's history just like
Jesus
walking
Christ.
around. And she goes and kind of interviews these historians about events in history, but she's kind of trolling them at the same time and trying to like make them acknowledge these really
Mhm.
awful things that happened in history, especially
Mhm.
under British rule, or
Mhm.
just just things of that nature.
Mhm.
um so it's actually really really hilarious. At first I was like, oh, she's just kind of treating these really historical moments as jokes, but then
Uh-huh.
I was like, now I get it.
Right.
Now I get where it's going.
Interesting.
um so that was like a really fun show to watch, but it's kind of something I have a problem where shows like that I need to just immerse, and
Mhm.
I can't really like watch stuff like that while doing other things.
Right.
I think that's why I lean more towards podcasts, because I can do something else while listening.
Mhm.
um so yeah, I'll probably just binge watch it this summer, and many other things that I want to watch. Like I would love to watch an anime this summer.
Yeah, that's how I was watching One Piece with the like dub version on
Hmm.
Netflix.
Right.
And now I've gotten past those episodes, and so I have to watch it with subtitles.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like very much ramped down the amount that I can watch it because I
Right,
like
'cause you
have to look at
actually
it.
watch. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
I haven't really been listening to anything but the read this week. I
Oh,
had
but I love the read.
It's so
Good
good.
podcast
I had
as
a
well.
night coming home from work where I just blasted Ariana Grande
Fuck
and
yeah.
screamed, which was nice
Fuck
because
yeah.
it's
She's
like
coming
after
out with
10
new music
p.m.
soon, I think.
You do?
I think
What?
so. I don't know if it was like a joke that I wasn't in on. Like I know people keep like making like with AI, they keep making her like cover songs with AI, and they keep calling it like leaks and stuff like
Oh my
that. Like,
God.
oh, Ariana's leak song, but it's actually an old song that they with AI have put her voice over.
Oh god.
A little freaky.
It's actually disturbing,
What is
honestly.
the world coming to? I'm so confused.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why I brought that up. but yeah, or I don't know if she actually is coming out with something eventually, or if she's like starting to make music again or whatever.
I'm not sure. She's still filming Wicked, so
I know she's busy.
yeah. So
Who knows?
I am unfortunately an Ariana Grande lover, which makes me happy, but people will judge me for, and that's okay.
Everyone has to have a problematic pop fave.
Oh my god.
She's my problematic pop fave. Sorry.
Disagrees. Listen, do you want me to like Ariana Grande or Taylor Swift? And depending on your answer, I think this could cause a huge debate.
do you want my answer?
No,
I actually do kind of want your answer.
I think you're gonna say Taylor Swift.
I agree.
Care.
Okay, good. That's a better answer.
That's a better answer.
That's a much better answer.
I really don't
I thought you
care.
were going to say Taylor Swift, and I was going to be like, oh, I have to reevaluate everything.
it just doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because, okay, my actual pop fave is probably Lizzo, but I don't love her music enough.
yeah. Oh,
I just love her.
Woo! That's a big mood.
Like I love her presence. I like her old music, but I
Mhm.
can't, that's not my pop fave for real because, whatever. So, anyway.
No, yeah, Ariana Grande is my pop fave, my very problematic pop fave. She's been less problematic just because she's been quiet. So
yeah, she does. She gets it. She gets it.
She's just been doing her thing.
Oh my god.
Literally.
Good for her.
She's making so much money. Just like be quiet.
Yeah.
Like you're good.
She's gonna be in the live action Wicked production. The movie. Like that's cool. It's a dream role for her. Happy for her. Probably gonna see it because I love Wicked.
Honestly, yeah, Wicked's pretty good. I'm not even a big fan of like shows and like musicals and stuff, but Wicked's pretty good.
Yeah, I love Wicked. I'm excited. Ready to see her shine.
Hell yeah.
And as my Queen Glenda. And sorry, I'm annoying again. But anyway, I love her, and I just like needed the pick me up one night of like singing her music because I know every word to every song.
Everything.
And
yeah.
I just needed it, and it was really, really nice to just like vibe and drive home because it's pitch black when I'm done with work, right? Like it's 10 p.m.
A nice night drive home.
Yeah.
Blasting music.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's just really nice to chill. So that's what I've been doing this week. That and the read, and that's it. Not talking to anyone. People are trying to talk to me, and then they make me angry. So
yeah,
trying to not talk to anyone.
I'm gonna try to talk to people less.
Honestly, it's so good.
Yeah.
You've been doing that in your life, I feel like.
Yeah.
You've been like keeping to yourself more, talking to only the people who like you need to talk to.
I just don't have the energy for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
same.
yes.
Same.
Like I just really couldn't. Like there are some instances where I would like to talk more because it's not like that's like a bad situation. It's just like socially draining.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are lots of instances where I'm very happy to not be like putting my energy into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird. It's like partially I kind of wish I had more energy, but at the same time, I think this is the best place to be
Yeah,
for me right
I
now.
agree. It's a good time. We can be all social in Gemini season.
Sure.
Yep.
That's when we're all not gonna want to shut up. Okay, so
Exactly.
like practice practice that inner peace now while you can. That's what I'll say. Okay,
Try to set myself up for
this summer is gonna
Yes.
be something else with the astrology
It
coming
really
up. Okay,
is.
I do love summer though.
me too.
You are a summer king, that's for
I'm
sure.
a summer baby.
I'm
Are
not.
you summer baby?
It makes me so
Despite-
happy.
Despite technically being born in summer, I do not like summer.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it being hot
Mm,
at all.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna try to have a hot girl summer and actually embrace the literal heat,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but like, ugh. I'm
Yeah.
also not looking forward to it. My temper gets high when I'm hot, and I'm already, you know,
A little heated.
a little heated. So I'm just like nervous about
Yeah.
being more angry. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
Everybody watch out. Everybody watch out. Don't cross me this summer.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things this summer that I'm very much looking forward to.
Mm,
Exciting things happening. So I'm going to try to embrace that feeling and like actually enjoy
true.
the full summer.
I know. Yeah. I just have to get through finals.
Just roll your windows down and like go on a drive
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
and go get like some snow cones.
I love a snow
That's a
cone.
good idea.
Eat some
And-
cukes. Eat
yeah,
some cucumbers.
sure.
Oh my god. Speaking of
Fruits,
snow
fresh
cones,
fruits.
wait, I saw this recipe yesterday that I sent to Sam.
Oh.
But like you take frozen fruit and
I sent you
just
that.
microplane it. No, I sent it to you. Oh wait.
Oh wait.
I sent it to
Are
you.
you sure?
You're so yes.
No.
Bitch. I sent it to you.
Are you positive?
Where they shaved down strawberries and put
Yeah, are
condensed
you
milk
sure that
on
you
it?
sent it to me? I thought I
Yes!
sent that to you.
Jordan.
Wow.
I'm literally looking right now.
This is literally what it's like to be us. We don't even know. We've literally melded our collective consciousness
Yes.
together that we don't even know how communication happens anymore.
Oh, you did send it to me. Okay. I've just like been telling my mom about it and like I
Wow.
want to do this right now.
So you thought it was your
This
idea?
is
Oh,
what it is.
okay.
Yeah, I thought it was my idea.
This actually happens to me with other people a lot, where I'll bring something up or make a joke, and then they
Yeah.
claim it as their own, and I'm like, okay, I see how it is. I'm glad you liked what I had to offer.
But basically, this person took frozen strawberry. I'm stealing this from
Yeah.
Jordan now because
Wow, now
I'm the one who found this and sent it. And grated it down and put condensed milk, like a shaved ice.
Yum.
yeah.
And I think
And
they
it
put like
looks
crushed
so
peanuts.
good. Yeah.
and
and
sesame
sesame seeds or
seeds.
something.
That sounds so good.
I want to do it with
Yes.
mangoes so bad.
Ooh. And some like tahine.
Oh, you're speaking my language. I had some mangoes and tahini on 420. Did I tell you?
Yum.
That
It was
sounds
so good.
Cause Earth Day, right?
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was after my exam. Like I was celebrating, you know?
Mhm. Of course.
My exam.
Your exam.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I love when that
God.
happens. Sorry. Just thinking about how we do that all the time. It's usually me taking credit for Sam's ideas. Truly. It's almost always me.
It's just a best friend thing.
I mean, it very much is, but it's almost always me doing that to them. I like kind of feel bad. I'm like, it's not on purpose. I've ingrained it in my brain as something that
No, I'm
I've,
telling
now
you,
thought
our
of.
brains have melded together, so we don't really
They're
know
one.
where the communication has come from.
See, yeah,
Might be
it
right.
happened when I get to that point with people, I tend to stop correcting them because
Oh.
I'm like,
Sam will never.
I'm like, that's fine. It's okay. You can have it. You're so right. You did come up with that.
That's so shady.
Oh my god, Avi. That's like almost worse. That's just great.
Yeah.
I don't want
love
to be
it.
I don't want to be argumentative and like make it an issue.
I'm not making it an issue. I'm just Why did you think? Oh no! This is just.
Okay, there you go. This is what being married is like. You stop.
This is what being married. You mean
You
my relationship with Jordan?
Oh no,
You're married,
I mean, yes, but I was saying that's where the line is. That once you're married, you stop saying,
Oh.
"Hey, I sent that to you." Actually, no, I do that. The second those words came out of my mouth, I was like, "Oh, that feels really familiar."
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh, I'm crying. That's so funny. Maybe we should make this episode 2 parts.
Maybe
I was
so.
actually gonna say that, but
That might be a good idea.
oh my god, that was wild.
That
I
was
could see
really
that, so
funny.
you become like one unit with one mind.
It's more that like we argue over so many ridiculous tiny
Like,
things.
we're just gonna let this one go.
Yeah, like why am I gonna make this something that I have to bring up?
Oh, I see.
Oh, that's so funny.
So I'm single.
Honestly, I do this with like my direct coworker too. He's like the person I work one-on-one with every single day. And we've gotten to the point where like everybody at work jokingly calls us work husbands because we like
Cute.
we'll like bitch back and forth at each other about the smallest shit. But we're never like actually fighting. Like we always get along.
Oh yeah. See, that's where Sam and I are all
Yeah.
the time. We're not actually fighting. It's just like here's our conversation. Bitch,
Sometimes
when
I'm
we
fighting.
did that bestie tag, we were
Yeah.
like, I don't know, have we ever
Did
fought
we
for
fight?
real?
For real? It's like, I don't know.
We don't. We just really like don't fight
you
for real.
bicker. You don't
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not an argument. It's not a fight. It's just us being, I don't know.
Contrarian.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Little shits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh man.
I love it. Avi,
Yes.
thank you for being here with us.
Yes. Thank you for tolerating this absolute chaos of a show.
Oh, it was delightful.
This
Thank
was
you.
an absolute treat.
Yes.
Thank you for making it all about me for some reason.
Yeah, it is all about you. Did you
It is,
forget?
though. It's always all about you, actually.
It's all
I never
about me.
forget.
Do you have anything you want to plug, your socials or anything?
Oh jeez. I don't
Well,
use
you don't
my
have-
socials.
You don't have to. I'm just asking.
I mean, sometimes I stream on twitch.tv under the username I ate avocado.
That's the number 8.
That's
Yeah.
number 8.
We'll link it.
We will.
But it's weird because all of my other stuff is like under Avicado Art.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I haven't figured anything out there. So just, if you want to see me stream some art every now and then or maybe play a game, you can follow
Or
me.
garden soon, maybe.
Or yeah, maybe I'll
Yes,
even do
gardening
some
stream
a
soon.
little repotting stream was an idea. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas. Who knows if they'll come to fruition in the next 6 months.
We'll see.
Sounds good.
Sounds
Sounds good.
That's
Lots
kind
of
of how
time
it
to
is
plan.
these days. It's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe I'll do this thing.
And that is A-okay.
Exactly.
We
That's
do
the
always link all of Avi's art stuff in the show notes if you're ever curious and you didn't notice before now.
I do technically have an Instagram, and if I post art, it will go there.
season. Yes.
But it doesn't happen
Yeah.
very often.
Social media. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it, right? Do we
Yeah,
have
I think
anything
that's
else
it.
we need to talk about today?
I don't know.
It's
This
only
is-
been 3 hours. I think we're good.
Yeah,
I think that
we're talked out.
might be it.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Thanks for being here. We love you.
We
I love you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any questions for us, you can always tweet us at 2cupsbetween. That's the number 2 cups between on Twitter, or you can email us at 2cupsbetween@gmail.com. Thanks. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.
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 This was so fun.
Yeah.
This is a long episode.
So
It's
much.
a long ass episode. Oh my god.
But we
Good
have time.
Lord.
We have time for this one.
We do.
Yeah. All right. You wanna start?